All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. We got Sofi earnings in about 10 minutes or so. Tesla still pushing up, but dipped a little bit yesterday. I'm starting the stream pretty early this morning, but that's just because Sofi releases their numbers in about 8 minutes. And so I wanted to cover Sofi. At 6 a.m. or at 7. When was Sofi earnings? I think it was at 7, right? Yeah, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make this a scroller. We also have CFTC 4.41 as a rule. Sofi is expecting. Let me see. So Sofi expects today 4-cent profit on 636.68 million in revenue. Put myself big right here. So yeah, we got Sofi's chart here. Put like that QQQ up for now. There's the Q. So if I sit in 1120s, we'll have to wait for the earnings to come out. They come out in about 5 minutes. Hey, what's up, Lang? Tesla up a little bit this morning, but looks like most stuff had a red day yesterday, right? Yeah, so Nvidia fell from about 143 all the way down to 140s yesterday. Tesla dropped as well, down from 273 at its highs all the way down to 260s. Yeah. But here is Sofi on the right. We will see what we get for this one. We also have the Jolts report later, which is good. What's up, Razvan? What's up, Beach Bum, Lang, Joseph? I know I'm starting it early this morning, guys. I know I'm starting it early. Let's do a poll. What's up, Beach Bum, Lang, Joseph? Are you bullish or bearish on Sofi stock earnings? What's up, Robert? All right, so that poll is now live. You can vote on it. Let me make sure I'm monetized. I'm pretty sure I am. So yeah, we got Sofi earnings and we got a Jolts report at 10. The Jolts report's honestly genuinely important. So yeah, Sofi is expecting. I'll put this up on screen, but Sofi is expecting. Expects 4-cent profit per share on 636.68 in revenue. I'll put that up so you can see it. Here you go. All right, we got like 3.5 minutes until Sofi drops, so we'll see what that looks like. AMD and Google. Yeah, so this evening we got a bunch of stuff too. We're going to be streaming all day today. Yeah, so this morning, in about 3.5 minutes, we've got PayPal, we've got McDonald's. Pfizer should have just came out. Let me see what they showed up as. So Pfizer should have just dropped. Yeah, Pfizer posted 106 versus 62 cents. EPS revenue of 17.7 versus 14.95 expected. They raised fiscal year guidance adjusted EPS view to 295 versus 265 expected. Their revenue view came in at 64 versus 61 expected. So Pfizer PFE did much better. I'm assuming they're up on this report, which they're not really, which is strange. Very good report for Pfizer, believe it or not. Like much better guidance, much better revenue. All right, chat. We got about 2 minutes left until it's supposed to drop. I'll put the Pfizer numbers out. We also had Horton, Royal Caribbean release their stuff. But Pfizer killed it. They did great. I'm not sure why they're down. They really did pretty good. Like, look, here's Pfizer. Yeah, Bitcoin over 70K. PayPal's in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. There's Pfizer right there. PayPal, man, what a rebound, dude. That thing went way back up, man. It's surprising. Yeah, dude, honestly, I'm so sore, bro. I've been training way too much jiu-jitsu. Like, I have trained in the last week. And again, I have ADHD. I get hyper-focused on something. But I have trained 8 classes in the last week. I went 2 times on Monday. I went every morning. And then I also trained 2 times on Sunday with some friends. Like, I have a friend that's training for a competition, and so he's like working on ankle locks and stuff. So I'm literally super sore. Like my throat hurts, my freaking foot hurts, my Achilles hurts. All right, guys, we got 1 minute. I'm gonna have to take a couple days off. I've been overtraining for sure. All right, we got less than a minute. All right, guys, here we go. Here's the report right here. All right, numbers are about to drop right now. Let's watch SoFi. SoFi spiked up. Look, so there's the numbers. So SoFi numbers are out. Look at it. It's up a little bit on the so far on the numbers. Let's see if we can find out what the numbers actually were for SoFi. But SoFi originally bounced up. It's at 1130s right now, 1130s. So SoFi up on their earnings so far. I'm not sure if they're good or bad, but so far up 1130s for SoFi. Let's see if we can figure out what the results actually are. Currently 1120s. Okay, so SoFi posted net revenue of 697 million. They expected 636, so way better than expected revenue. Net income of 61 million for quarter 3. They demonstrated durable growth and strong returns. They said, quote, our financial services and tech platform segments now make up a record 49% of SoFi adjusted net revenue, up 39% year over year. Noto continued in the third quarter. These businesses grew revenue by a combined 64% year over year, a testament for our continued execution and deliberate shift towards capital light, higher ROE, fee-based revenue streams. Looking at their numbers, this is in the millions, I think. Revenue came in at 697 million. Net income was a loss of 60 million. Adjusted EBITDA, yeah, so they lost 60 million. SoFi Money reached record highs in accounts, total deposits, and direct deposits. Yeah, but SoFi numbers are out. They're up. They're up to 1140s. So they're gapping up a decent percentage, right? Like this is about 0.5%, maybe a little bit less than 0.5% gap up. But yeah, they posted 5 cent profit per share versus 4 cent expected. Revenue of 689 versus 633 million expected. SoFi Money reached record highs in accounts deposits and direct deposits. SoFi Invest sees strong engagement and continues to see strong engagement driven by new alternate assets, money market funds, and mutual funds, which we have rolled over the past year. We continue to provide mainstream investors access to unique investment products like interval funds, private credit, private real estate, and private venture. Currently, 70% of new signups are from existing SoFi members. The SoFi credit card officially launched the everyday cash rewards and essential credit cards, enabling SoFi to serve more people's spending and borrowing needs. The loan platform business has evolved into an integrated loan platform experience, which now offers just-in-time lending. The loan platform business posted record results driven by a record of $1 billion of personal loan volume generated on behalf of third parties in the quarter. The tech platform signed several new partnerships, launched advanced fraud protection solutions, and a new secured credit card with dynamic funding offering to promote greater financial inclusion and help customers build strong credit. But yeah, so they did good. They beat EPS, beat revenue. They raised fiscal year 2024 guidance. Yeah, and so they're gapping up. Let's see. So SoFi beats EPS, beats revenue, raises fiscal year 24 guidance. So they did pretty good. So they beat EPS, beat revenue, raised fiscal year guidance. Yeah, PayPal, adjusted sales 689. I'll find PayPal here. So PayPal posted 120 EPS. We'll put this up in chat. 120 EPS versus 107. Revenue 785 versus 7088. So PayPal missed revenue. Quarter 4 guidance. Let me see. Yeah, so PayPal missed EPS or beat EPS, missed revenue. Here's PayPal's numbers right here. So they beat EPS, missed revenue is what happened. So that's why they're down. Is they missed revenue, which is kind of a more important metric, to be honest. Like revenue is more important than EPS, I would say. American Tower also posted numbers here. So there's American Tower Corp. If you look in the chat, we put PayPal numbers up. Yeah, well, here's the actual SoFi numbers right there. See if I can edit this layout. I just want one, but maybe I want it a little bit higher, but less like this is probably the best way to do it. There we go. So SoFi moving up. It's still up about, SoFi's up like 35%. Or, no, I'm sorry, not 35%. Not even close to 35%. SoFi is up, currently about 4%. Give or take, about 4% gap up for SoFi, which is good. Yeah, but SoFi did good. We're going to put PayPal up on the right side here. Here's PayPal. PayPal now $85 a share, $85 a share. What's up, Milo? What's up, Sam? SoFi is still testing that 1150 level. We'll see if it holds, but it's still testing that level up there. All right. What's up? Plus code swab. Yeah, we're here. What's up, guys? I'm just not talking that much. I'm sorry. Super early start. Yeah. So again, SoFi earnings, right? It's earnings season. So today we've got so much stuff to cover. So we have SoFi earnings release. SoFi is gapping up about 4% in pre-market right now. About 4%. PayPal. I didn't even notice, but PayPal is already gapping up a huge amount. Up to $85 a share gap up from yesterday. It closed at about $83.25, and it's now at $85 a share. So a pretty big gap up here for PayPal. PayPal, I remember people were telling me PayPal was extended at 60s, and I was telling people PayPal was good. Like PayPal, people still use PayPal a heavy amount. The only risk for PayPal, I think, is like crypto getting more efficient, but who knows when that's going to happen, if and when. And so for the time being, PayPal is one of the easiest ways to transfer money anywhere if you need it done quickly. I use PayPal daily. Oh, wait. That reminds me. I got to pay Pawn. Sorry, Pawn. Let me do that right now. But no, with that said, I use PayPal to pay moderators. I use PayPal pretty regularly. So, but no, I use PayPal pretty regularly, and it just makes it easy, right? For all kind of moderators and everything, I use it quickly and easily. All right, let me know. Y'all can hear me, right? So my sound is good. Should be good. Look at SoFi with a late reaction here. Look at SoFi pump up. Big move here. A big move. PayPal is about to rise. Look at SoFi rip up here. So now SoFi is up over 10%. Or no, not quite over 10%. So you got to put it like when I'm doing this math in my head, right? If SoFi was at $10 and it went up to 11, that's exactly a 10% increase relative to where it was. Right now it's at $11 and it's going up to 12, and so it's not quite 10% yet because it was over $10 to begin with, if that makes sense. But it's still roughly. This is roughly a 10% move, right? This is probably like 8% if you know. Yeah, so from 11 to 12 is 9% actually. So I was one off. Sorry, 9%. I should have known that. So this is a 9% move right now in pre-market, but it's not even that. It's a little bit less than that as well. So that's probably because it was at 11.10 first. So yeah, this is actually exactly an 8%. I was actually correct. So it's 8.1% to be exact. Top 3 head math in the world right now. but no, SoFi's up 8% right now in pre-market. Good earnings, good guidance, and justifiably so. Good earnings, good revenue, good guidance. It's up decent, you know. All right, so Corning came out. I don't really know what Corning does, but still. Hey, thank you so much, Kay, for the 20 NOK. I don't know how much that is, but that is $1.83. Thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate it. Why do some sell call options when they can buy put options? Well, because you got to think of it like this, Silva. I'm just going to call you Silva. You got to think about it like this. When you buy a call option, you know, depending on what you buy, let's just say your odds are 50-50, right? Like, this is just making it super simplified, but I'm just going to make it simplified. So when you buy a call option, you know, 50-50 shot it goes up, 50-50 shot it goes down. When you sell options, your odds go up dramatically, right? So the most people who sell options, most options expire worthless. And so if you're out here slanging options to people, most of the time you're going to make money. Right? And so somebody that might be new to those markets might come in there and be like, hey, well, why don't I just sell options? If most of the time I make money, why don't I do it? The reason a lot of people don't do it is because the risk when you lose is really, really high. So you might sell options, make money a large majority of the time. When you finally catch one that goes against you, you know, so if you're selling, what did you say? Selling call options, right? So say you find one that just starts dumping on people, just dropping, you could lose everything. Like, you could lose a huge amount. And if you sell put options, it's even riskier. Selling call options. Yeah, so if you sell, because if you're selling call options, as the stock goes higher, you lose money, right? And stocks can go up an infinite amount. And so if you have one that turns on you and goes against you when you've sold an option and that thing just goes up, just goes to the moon, you could, in theory, lose an infinite amount of money, right? And with these platforms, they will put you negative in debt with this, right? And so that's the reason a lot of people do not sell, especially call options. The risk is so profound when you do it, right? Most of the time you're going to be fine, but the off chance that you get one that runs big, you're going to lose a huge amount, and it's just not worth it most of the time. Google earnings are after the closing bell. Well, if you sell call options, that means you're taking the other side of a call option, which means that if you're wrong, that means you want the stock to go down because you're selling call options to somebody who wants the stock to go up, right? And so if the stock goes up an infinite amount, you lose big and big and big and big. That's what it is. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really sell call options. What earnings are you the most? Maybe I am wrong. I could be wrong, Alberto. I don't know. I've never actually sold options. But that's what people who I know that have sold options, that's what they say. Yeah, Pfizer did great on their earnings too, but man, look at SoFi at 1180s. Yeah, I mean, Alberto, you might be right, brother. Like I said, I've never actually done it. That's what I've heard. I'll have to look into it, though. All right, nice, Dustin. That's great. Yeah, look at SoFi. It's up there, though. Wow. So I did get funded on 2 different accounts yesterday on Top Step. You love to freaking see it. Let me get this out there. It should let me do it. Yeah. I just want to do this. I want to show the screen. So yeah, you can see I'm funded now on these two accounts. We broke a rule on one of them, and so we lost one of them, but we are now funded on two of the accounts that we did on stream yesterday. And so now we just have to activate it. And to activate it, you go to Start Express Funded Account. Let's do it. Sign these agreements. You know, I've already read these, so I already know, but yeah, you definitely want to read through this. Got to activate it. It's about $150. And we activated one. We created the new one. And then I think we got another one. There we go. And then now we just have one more that we got to activate. All right, guys. Sofi's still up there. PayPal doing good too. So now we have this Express Funded account. We got one more that we want to trade on. I think we got this one now as well. We will launch this thing too. Same thing. Let's mute out that. All right. So yeah, now we effectively have 3 funded accounts to max. And so we're going to take some risks in those things today. Hopefully, we're going to take some risks. We'll see how it goes. But let me exit out of this. Let me get out of OBS so it's not messing up my stream. Yeah, so they showed 5-cent EPS Mopar. Or wait. Yeah, you might be right. I don't know where I saw it. So I heard it was 5 cents originally as well. In their report, in their presentation, it was 5 cents. But for whatever reason, I am showing. Yeah, so I'm showing EPS was 5 cents. I don't know why they got this one wrong. Let me fix that. I'm showing it was 5 cents as well versus 4 cents expected. Revenue was 680 million. What data could affect gold? So the Jolts report is later on this morning. All right, so the Jolts report. All right, so y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I'm here talking upon, but we're talking about like, so if you get say you want to get something for streaming games or just streaming in general, right? Like what I always thought was that if I want to get a desktop, like I know the desktop I currently have was like $3,000, and this was like 4 years ago for this desktop. Now this is kind of like a fancy one. Carol bought me this as a present 4 years ago. I should have bought it myself and wrote it off now that I think about it, but I digress. Back to the point. The point is, if you want to buy a desktop and you want one for gaming, it's going to be a little bit more expensive to get like a nice gaming desktop, right? Like you're going to get more bang for your buck in that regard if you buy a laptop, because you can get a decent laptop for like 1K, 1.5K, and it's going to be able to support all, like the idea that you want to have with computers is you want to get a gaming computer. Right, because you can get cheap gaming computers that support streaming, that are good, that are high quality, that are fast. They might be loud, right? The downfall, the flaw of getting a laptop is they can be loud, right? Like they can be really loud because they got the fans and they're all compact and stuff. but you can usually get more bang for your buck with a laptop. Correct? Am I wrong there? I might be wrong. I'm genuinely open to hearing what you guys have to say. No, my computer's definitely really old. It's time for me to upgrade. I'm gonna have to upgrade this pretty soon. I'm also gonna get I'm gonna get some ultra wide monitors. I have 4 monitors set up here. What you'll notice very quickly though, right? Like this computer's old, but as soon as I bought this computer, I upgraded the memory. I have like 128 gigs of RAM in this thing, So like even with it being 3 years old, it still runs perfectly. Like no issues with this computer at all. It still runs beautifully just because I updated the RAM. And so if you got a work computer that you want to work on, add some RAM sticks to that thing. I know I did it with every laptop I bought. I just added more RAM to it, and it increased just it worked more seamlessly with it. More memory allows you to do more stuff. Money efficiency desktop is better than a laptop. Laptops are overpriced. Okay, I might be wrong then. I thought it was the other way. It's the opposite. Yeah, who knew, man? I guess I'm wrong. So desktops are actually cheaper than laptops. I retract my previous statements then, Because I was under the assumption, look at PayPal. So PayPal turned for some reason. Look here, PayPal. Wait. Okay, yeah, look at PayPal turned, guys. So PayPal turned. Dropped all the way down to 82s. I'm not sure when the earnings is for this, but... Okay, Sofi almost pulled 6 cents. Yeah, they must have rounded in the specs that I saw. PayPal all the way down to $82 a share. Yeah, I always thought laptops were cheaper. I mean, I need a laptop. The next thing I'm buying is a laptop anyway, though, just because I travel and need it for work. I'm going to be able to write it off for this year anyway. I'm trying to write stuff off. Yeah, so the Jolts report's huge today. That's a big monster report that comes out. Not at 8:30 today, though. It doesn't drop at 8:30. I think we got the Case-Shiller house price index today, but that's it. Yeah, we got the Case-Shiller house price index at 9 a.m. Yeah, I never knew that. Hip. Yeah, Apple's definitely crashing less. I've just never been an Apple user. I like using Apples. The UI on Apples is great. But, spending $5K on a laptop is a tough ask for me. You know what I mean? It's a tough ask. And the other thing is I worry... I like to customize everything. I like to have multiple monitors. I like to have 3-4 monitors. I like to have ultra wide stuff and everything. The problem with Apple is the problem with Apple is that they're less compatible with stuff, and it was intentional, right? Steve Jobs always talked about that aspect of it, which they don't want it to be super compatible with everything else. Yeah, McDonald's earnings, I think, are out. I didn't see any news on it. So McDonald's... I don't see McDonald's numbers out. I feel like McDonald's had that news about the E. coli thing. And they're kind of, delaying their release. JetBlue Airways came out 16-cent loss per share. Versus 26-cent loss expected revenue of $2.365 billion and expected $2.34. So they beat EPS and beat revenue, but they still would have lost per share. I don't see... Oh, McDonald's is out. So McDonald's posted $3.23 EPS versus $3.20 expected. Solid state drives are extremely cheap right now too. Why are SSDs cheap? Is there something new coming out? I haven't been up to date on hardware at all. Right, so I just haven't been... PayPal released earnings, STT. I don't know why they fell this much though. But there's McDonald's numbers right now. I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah, so look at SoFi still heading up here. So it's still moving up some. Alright. But yeah, dude, I'm so freaking sore, man. Like, dude, my throat hurts. So I got punch choked yesterday. If anybody knows what a punch choke is. I got punch choked. My throat hurts. It hurts when I swallow. I've been overtraining, man. I really have. Like, all of my friends in jiu-jitsu tell me I'm overtraining. Yeah, I'm trying to see oversupply of solid states. It's becoming the standard made. Yeah. Yeah, punch choke is when they put their, and they push. Right, it's hard to explain, but yeah, it hurts. Hurts when I swallow now. I don't know why PayPal's dropping. PayPal shares, they missed revenue. They expect Q4 non-GAAP EPS down to low to mid single digits is what PayPal is. So again, this is what I see. Yeah, so I don't think we have import-exports, but I do see the Jolts report, or I know the Jolts report happens. We got the Jolts, we have, yeah, so we got the Jolts report, and then we have, we got the Case-Shiller House Price Index. And then we got CB Consumer Confidence, and then we have, we got the Goods Trades Balance. Okay, actually, you're right. We got the Good Trades Balance data at 8:30. We got the Case-Shiller House Price Index at 9. We got CB Consumer Confidence and the Jolts report at 10. So we got some stuff. Got Hamzat. Yeah, dude. Well, you could tell. I was telling some other people about this, but Hamzat, you know, whenever he fought like Gilbert Burns, as an example, you know, he got pieced up a little bit by Gilbert. Gilbert caught him a couple times, right? His chin was really high. He kept his chin really high. People were criticizing Hamzat's striking and like all this stuff, and because Hamzat like fought with him a little bit more, and so you could tell this fight when he fought Robert Whitaker, he didn't play any games. He immediately just kind of took him down and finished it, right? He was not playing at all. He didn't want to mess with him at all. He just immediately took him down and finished it. And so you could tell, like, he heard the criticism and he was just like, okay, well, I'm just not going to strike at all. I'm just going to finish this, which he did. Yeah, but when I say streaming, Frost, I'm not talking about streaming Netflix. What I'm talking about is streaming yourself, like I'm doing right now. Like I'm streaming live right now. So that takes more memory for sure and more processing power from your computer to stream something live. It takes some power. Like it takes some processing stuff. Yeah, Hamzat's a monster. SoFi went so fly. Yeah, SoFi up big. And again, we did get funded. Let's put some of those up right now. Again, we got the Jolts report later today. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate the love. Let's keep grinding this thing up. We got the Jolts report today, the big Jolts report, massive report. Ugh. All right, chat. Today we got the Jolts report, we got Google earnings, we got AMD earnings. Alright, so yeah, we got a bunch of earnings. Most of the stuff is out today, so here's a full list of everything that showed up today for earnings. SoFi, so like here's a big list of everything that showed up. SoFi, PayPal, McDonald's, Pfizer, BP, all dropped earnings this morning. So yeah, that's the earnings today so far. got SoFi, PayPal, McDonald's, Pfizer, BP, Royal Caribbean. Clorox, or Crocs, JetBlue, American Tower. Supermicro Semiconductors. Yeah, so this is earnings whisper that I'm looking at for earnings specifically. Yeah, so today we got AMD, Google, Snapchat. I'm going to try to stream both AMD and Google. So look at SoFi coming back down. So we're gonna start to trade a little bit here. So we'll start to trade some. Here's SoFi numbers. Look at SoFi dipping down a little bit, down to 1160s. So coming down some here. We do have the big massive Jolts report today, guys. So we do have the big massive Jolts report today. We started streaming a little bit early this morning. Somebody's asking me to turn up my mic. I'm not sure if it's loud. Let me know if that helps or if that affects it at all. I've had a couple people tell me, but yeah, check it out. So now we have 3 funded accounts. Look at that. So we have 3 funded accounts now that we can trade off of today. 3 funded accounts. I'll have to check to see where everything's at, but we'll start this one off today. You love to see it. We'll see if we can keep it up. We're also going to be on Trader TV today. At 1 o'clock Central Time, I believe, is what it's going to be at 1 o'clock Central. Yeah, so I mean, if I turn my mic, look, so I've had some people talk about my mic being down. I'll have to listen to it. Here, hold on 1 second. Let me listen to it. So I know if I turn my head, it might be a little worse. I'm trying to mess with it, so just bear with me. I got too many windows up here. Hold on. Yeah. Like I try to do setting, and so again, y'all just let me know which one's worse. So like usually I'm not gonna be super close to my mic, but I can try omnidirectional, which is this one. Let me know if we're lagging out a little bit too. Hold on, I'm gonna have to cut out some of these. I can feel my computer kind of lagging a little bit here. We should be good, but Yeah, no, I turned my mic up a little bit, chat. Like if I speak into it, it changes. Hold on, I haven't messed with it yet, so just bear with me. Hold on, I'm kind of messing with it now. Okay, so this was my old setting right here. So this was my old setting. I think I'm probably just gonna keep this one because this one's called omnidirectional, which means it picks it up from any direction as opposed to the other one where it's a little bit different. So I'll probably just keep it like this. Uh, Yeah, so again, so everybody's saying bad again. I never switched it prior to that. Like all I did was I turned my mic up so I could see it, right? So of course it's going to get worse if I turn my microphone up because I'm not speaking it to it from up. But this should be good, right? So this should be good. This setting is called omnidirectional. So this should help. It should help. All right, so now that we are funded in this account, we're going to trade micros for now. We don't really have much edge here. Part of me wants to buy the dip, but actually, no, I'm going to short this. This is our first trade in this funded account. We're going to try to build up some small cushions with just some micro contracts here. So this is an actual 50K funded account. Good. Look at Sofi up there in the corner, though. Sofi's moving. Check that out. So it's moving up there. We'll see if it holds, but I will add some size to this. 2 contracts here. Take some longer term shorts. Ideally, I want to see it break down a little bit more, but kind of a small trade now. Look at SoFi coming back up, though. We got to see, I guess, what everything else is doing. We also have, again, chat, so we have the Case-Shiller House Price Index today. We got the Case-Shiller House Price Index. We have the Jolts report. We've got CB Consumer Confidence data. We've got good trades balance data today. So we're going to take 3 contracts now, add to a winning trade here. And now we kind of retraced all the way back, but we're flat. There we go. That's cleaner. Yeah, Bitcoin pumping right now, guys. So Bitcoin's doing great. Bitcoin up to 73,000. Bitcoin's approaching all-time highs. Getting very close to all-time highs for Bitcoin. You know, though, like part of me getting funded, like when I was trading my challenge accounts the last few days, I noticed, man, it's a lot easier for me to trade with regular contracts versus micros. And so it's just something I noticed. I'm going to add 1 to this here. Well, and this is going to be max, and then we'll cut it at 2 contract increments. We're flat here. We got a big upwick, but lately I've been noticing, and if we form a wick, we kind of fill it back up. Believe it or not, yeah. So there's the fill. It's something I've been noticing. So we're on the wrong direction of this. It's probably too early. I'm gonna have to cut this. So we just lost like 30, 40 bucks. I'm gonna keep it small like that. Luckily, we're trading micros. The range is so tight. I think we might have to wait for us to break out of that range. No, you're not liable. The only loss you're liable for, Danny, is the monthly subscription for the account. Is the monthly subscription. So again, they give you a demo and they test your skill with a demo account first. If you pass the test, then they fund you with the regular account. But the only thing you're ever liable for is what you pay for the monthly subscription. You know, so if you want to check it out, here's the link. They're an affiliate of mine. I'm biased, of course, but you know, I think it's a great way to learn how to day trade and not lose thousands of dollars of your own money. Right? Like most day traders lose. It doesn't matter who you follow, what course you take. Most of the people that criticize Top Step or, you know, whatever are usually just traders that lose, right? Like traders that have lost money. And I think a lot of traders are super selfish and kind of like, not maybe selfish. A lot of traders are super in denial about their own trading skill, right? So they lose money. And instead of being like, hey, I took a bunch of dumb trades, they try to blame their platform, or they blame Top Step, or they blame me, or whomever they can. And the reality of it is, if you lose on Top Step, if you funded your own account, you probably lose much more than that. This is just this is just the truth behind it, and everybody knows this is the truth. But you know, some people still get weird about it, and that's okay, I guess. All right. Yeah, so we got the Case-Shiller House Price Index. We got some other stuff going live. Yeah, Bitcoin's getting close to all-time highs, dude. It really is. Dude, do we really have a lot of people trading binary options like it's an actual thing? I've talked about the criticism of binary options before. It's very easy to tell you what's wrong with binary options, right? Binary options. What's wrong with them is that you consistently get worse than a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio, right? Like consistently worse. Okay, what do I mean by that? What do I mean is that if you trade binary options, right? If your risk is 1-to-1, or it's binary options are like simplified options. But so say I bet $100, right? If I lose in binary options, I lose that entire $100. Like say they say, hey, ABC stock has to hit $1.50 before X amount. Here's the time frame. If ABC stock does not hit that $1.50 level before whatever the time frame is, I lose my entire $100, right? If I win betting $100, usually I'm only getting back 85 cents of that, or $85 out of 100, right? So when I win, I'm winning $85. When I lose, I'm losing 100. You know, that is why binary options don't work. That's why it's better to just trade actual options, right? These binary options are just hoping traders knew enough and that the simplification of it will make them want to do it, even though they consistently get worse than 1-to-1 reward to risk ratios. And so just be smart. Don't fall for that. Like that's what you see a lot in binary options. You see a lot of people promoting it. It's sketchy. Don't do it. Google was reporting after the closing bell today, and we're going to stream it live. We'll be streaming that fully live like we always do. Yeah, Bitcoin flying up right now, chat. Look at Bitcoin. So I'm going to put Sofi up here. We're going to leave it up for a second, but we're also going to put now Bitcoin on the bottom here. Bitcoin making its move. Look at that, up to 71,500. Look at that, 71.5K. I'm so apprehensive if this is going to hold on because Coinbase is cursed every time they have earnings. Bitcoin dumps. Maybe. I don't know, man. I think Coinbase is up a lot, but Bitcoin is approaching all-time highs. All right, I'm going to short this. Again, we're going to take another trade here in our funded account. Take 4 contracts. We're trying to swing a little bit heavier in these funded accounts here. We'll take 6 contracts here. All right, there we go. Take a little piece off. Lock that thing in. See if we can get some more here. We got 5 contracts. More. All right, so we have effectively made about 15 bucks, 20 bucks. I might add a little bit more to this now. No, don't do it. Yeah, there we go. I think I just need to get out the full position though, is the problem. Like I think if I cut it one contract at a time, the commissions, even if they're just 70, they're only 74 cents in fees. I'm still locking in profit here. Now that I think about it. All right, we got 4. I'm going to take it in 2 contract increments. Man, what a squeeze here though, man. Look at this move. Wow. I'm going to lower my size right now and just kind of cut it, but what a move. Honestly, I would usually buy this up, to be honest. That's why I'm cutting it here, because these candle wicks, like I've been noticing this pretty regularly. So in this last trade, we're currently down about $8, give or take. I guess we'll stay in our short. So now we're completely flat. Now we're going to add to it, take 4 contracts. Very choppy. I want to get it low enough to take profit here, but I don't think it's a good idea to do anything. I have no idea. I definitely don't think it's a good idea to do that. Kevin says, hey, do you think it's a good idea to short DJT? Heading into the election? Probably not. I don't think anything like that's a good idea. I think either way you go, long or short is risky right now. It's up huge. There's variance out there. There's tons of variance, to be honest. It's just not anything that I would do personally. But make your money. Do whatever you want to do. I have no freaking idea there. I genuinely have no idea. All right, so we just locked in that profit. Good. One contract left. Somehow we're green on this trade now, too. I'm going to let this work a little bit, see if it breaks down. Unless it pushes up. If it pushes up, I'll cut it. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of volatility. There we go. All right, half. I'm just going to go ahead and cut the rest here. So somehow we got out. What am I? Am I green on the day? No, I'm not. But that's all right. Bitcoin's still trying here. Still trying to head up. Again, we got the... Yeah, what did Ford do? Well, there's no trend. He says the trend is your friend. Right now, there's no freaking trend except sideways. The only trend is sideways right now. You can kind of see this trend if we draw it here. You know, that's the current trend. I guess you could say it's like this. But it's pretty sideways to me right here. I'm just ready for this to freaking end, to be honest, man. And I know, like, I can tell just me talking about it. Like, you can tell how emotional some people get. And again, I hope you guys understand. Like, I'm not against you. Like, I'm really not. Like, I'm not against you. I'm not for you either in terms of, like, politics. Like, I'm very neutral, genuinely neutral in real life. Now, maybe you could say I'm sticking my head in the sand. I don't necessarily think so. But, you know, either way, it shouldn't matter too much, right? Like, whether I like or dislike somebody shouldn't mean anything to you. It really shouldn't. And if you're basing whether you like or dislike somebody over that, or if you're basing whether you are, like, emotional or not based off of, like, you know, then you're being way too emotional about all of it. So just be respectful here. I'm just ready for it to end. I like it when you debate the trolls. Oh, the music is still off. Thank you, Pawn. I didn't even realize. I completely forgot about it. My bad. Rookie question, how do you trade before the market is open? I usually trade small, personally. You mean accept, Jamie? It would be. Yeah, I'm not really, like... it's the micro NASDAQ futures contract, Mr. G. It's a futures contract. We are day trading futures, which is no PDT restrictions in futures. You can day trade short, all kind of cool stuff. All right, we got almost 400 people here live. I appreciate everybody joining me today. We got the Jolts report later, and that's honestly a huge thing, like a huge thing. The Jolts report is massive. We're gonna throw it in sub-only mode, so if you haven't already subscribed, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, Bitcoin's making moves. Look at Bitcoin. It's trying to get up there. Look at it. I think the way I'm gonna redo this computer here, so I think I'm gonna keep this top monitor, I think, because I think with the ultra wide monitors, it's gonna be hard to stream on like I isolate the stream to one. I think on the bottom one, I'm gonna completely replace 2 of these monitors to where I just have 3 monitors. One of them's an ultra wide. I think that's the plan. I could always just put 2 ultra wides up, but I think that would be kind of iffy. Yeah, so Mr. G Pawn spoke about it above. All right, so we got 400 people watching. Thanks so much. I'm going to end this poll, and we're going to do another poll here, like we do. Watching. Thanks so much. I'm going to end this. Yeah, so we said, are you bullish or bearish on SoFi earnings? 78% say bullish. Do we have what is this, a goal? That's cool. They got a new goal option here, which is kind of cool. All right, guys, so we're going to end this poll on SoFi, and now we're going to do the Jolts report. Are you bullish or bearish on today's Jolts job report? Let me know how you feel. Bull or bear on today's Jolts report. That's probably the biggest report this morning, is the Jolts report. Over everything else, the Jolts report's largest, I would say. It's close, but yeah. All right, so the Nasdaq's very flat here. Bitcoin trying to push up over highs. It's trying to make moves, but again, it's just kind of boring. SoFi coming all the way back down to 1140s. Will it jolt us? Yeah. Yeah, so tomorrow, chat, we've got GDP data, prelim payroll data, and then wait. I'm trying to remember everything that we have tomorrow. Yeah, so tomorrow we've got non-farm employment, GDP data, and then we also have big earnings like Apple. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, we got All right, so far we asked people about the Jolts report. 40 voted, 76% say bullish, 24% say bearish. Yeah, we're going to cover AMD and Google after the closing bell today for sure. Yeah, so tomorrow we got Microsoft, Meta, Supermicro earnings. That'll be fun. Yeah, so tomorrow we got those big ones. But yeah, we're definitely going to cover AMD and Google this morning. Definitely covering those two. What's up, Chef? What's up, Jay? Pew Pew. What's up, Lisa? Mr. G, Jay, Spawn, Pawn, Alicia, Justin, G or J, Jamie, T, J, Vote, Big, Danny. All right, Maria, Kevin. What's up, guys? Yeah, so. Yeah, PayPal posted earnings, but they missed revenue for PayPal. They also had some slightly negative guidance stuff. So they're actually gapping down from their earnings. They're red on the day, gapping down some. MicroStrategy. Yeah, MicroStrategy up to 270. It's kind of crazy, honestly. MicroStrategy just hit 270. Yeah, so MicroStrategy at 269.20. So what's up, Faye? What's up, Sean? What's up, Frost? Yeah, semiconductors are big today too. Look at the NASDAQ come down. So the NASDAQ's actually dropping. So look at this drop. So the NASDAQ is falling a little bit here. Hey, what's up, Thomas? Yeah, so we're coming down some. Y'all hit that subscribe button. We should this week, I believe, we're probably gonna break 150,000. I think. Who freaking knows? But I think we might break 150,000. All right, guys. So, honestly, my dreams have been vivid lately. My dreams have been super vivid. I don't know why. When do you see PayPal recovering? Yeah, I don't know. Well, so we got a timer for what? We got a lot of different stuff moving today, chat. So we got a lot of different stuff. So Sofi earnings already dropped. PayPal earnings already dropped. Bitcoin's pushing up. The Jolts report is at 10 o'clock. The CB Consumer Confidence report is at 10 o'clock. We got Case Shiller at 9 a.m. We have the good trades balance at 8:30. And so, you know, I mean, what do you got? I can put a timer up, but we got a whole bunch of stuff today. And so it's hard to figure out what to time because there's a lot of different stuff. What's up, Cheddar? Hey, good morning. What's up, Jay? Yeah, I'm surprised Arby's is still around. Like, maybe Arby's has like a bigger following than I realize. But I just don't like Arby's, personally, like myself. Like, I'm just not a big fan of Arby's. I just never really liked much of what they had. Maybe it's just I don't see many in my area. But just never been a big fan of Arby's. Not judging anybody if you are, of course. Everybody's different. Everybody has different tastes. I'm a big barbecue guy. I love barbecue. My favorite foods are, I like barbecue, and I love Mexican food. Love it. Love enchiladas, birria tacos, you know, puffy tacos, tortilla soup. Like I'm just a big Tex-Mex guy. But yeah. Yeah, we're gonna be streaming later for sure. Both earnings reports. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be streaming Google and AMD separately today. Yeah. I'm not a big Taco Bell person. I like real Mexican food. But I also like barbecue. So I like some burn-ins. I like some beef rib, you know. I like some pork rib. I like freaking brisket. All right, chat. So we're now down to 20.5. And the NASDAQ, 490. Yeah, for sure. I'm in Texas, faded, so there's just a lot of good food here. Texas has some great food. Honestly, I'm from Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge has some great food. Like, we got some really good Lebanese restaurants in Baton Rouge. We got Sirap's. If you ever go to Baton Rouge, go to Sirap's. Sirap's Lebanese food, super good. Really good chicken shawarma, gyro. I know I'm not pronouncing that right. What is it? Gyro? Really good gyro. Really good chicken shawarma, really good hummus, really good Grecian sauce. All good. Go to Al Bash's as well. They're both really good. Sirap's, Al Bash's. If you ever go to Baton Rouge, go there. But yeah, I live in Houston now, so really good food here, obviously, too. No, there's not really a way, Faye. So who did you choose to begin with, Faye? If you have vivid dreams, and also that story about home runs. Honestly, that's a true story. I say it all the time because it freaked me out, right? It genuinely did. Like the home run story. Like, again, I'm not out here making stuff up. My whole family saw it. Super strange. And I haven't even been watching baseball. I know the Dodgers are in the World Series right now with can't think of the name, but yeah, the baseball story's real. It's also strange. What I also find strange is that I've gotten every CPI report exactly right in the last like 6 months, except for one. I think I got one wrong. But 5 out of 6 CPI reports, there's some variance in CPI. They can be positive, they can be negative. Somehow I've gotten each prediction right, which is very strange to me. And I think that's a lot more difficult to do than people think, you know? Like, since I've been betting on these CPI reports, I've seen a lot of people try to do it, and they immediately get, like, the first one wrong, you know? And so it's just very odd. It's very odd that I'm somehow getting the CPI reports exactly right, too. Yeah, the Yankees. The Yankees have won enough, though, bro. They don't need to win again. Oh, Tony Seafood? Yeah, Tony's is pretty good. Yeah, I'm in Houston. What do you expect from Palantir earnings this quarter? Palantir has had a crazy quarter, though, man, in terms of price. Palantir, you know, they're at basically $45 a share. So they're basically up. Palantir is basically up like 65-70% in the last quarter. 65 to 70% gains for Palantir in the last quarter. Crazy gains for PLTR. And so I'm just seeing what's going to happen. This quarter is really, really interesting. We're going to stream the earnings, of course, like we always do. Super, super interesting for Palantir, though. Nostradamus. Yeah, it's just odd. You know, again, I've told you guys this before. I'm a direct descendant of Giles Corey, believe it or not, which was like one of the men executed in the Salem witch trials. I'm a direct descendant of him, you know. This is like my parents always told me that story about being a direct descendant. The story of Giles Corey was like, he was one of the people, he got during the Salem witch trials. He's if you ever watch The Crucible or read The Crucible, he's the more weight guy. He's the guy that said more weight. Like, basically they tried to get him to admit, but if he did admit it, the state would take all the stuff, right? So his famous quote was more weight, basically like F you, you know. I'm not going to admit to it, and not going to, you know, so that way his descendants could take all this, or could keep all this stuff instead of the state taking it. So, interesting story. But yeah, I'm a direct descendant of Giles Corey too, which is strange. I think it's more plausible that we're just in a simulation, you know. I've done a DNA test before. And on the DNA test, I've never looked to see my descendants. One of them was Benjamin Franklin. On the DNA test, it said I was like somewhere a descendant of Benjamin Franklin. The other one, so again, and my ancestry was interesting too. Like, it was 60% English, which with the last name London, London, was pretty obvious. But then we looked into but I was also a little bit like Nordic, so like Viking. And my middle name is Nordic as well. But I was also like, I think it was like 4 or 5% African. And then there was a bunch of other like Mongolian and like French. I'm like 15% French. So it was, my biggest percentages were English, French, African, and then a bunch of other small percentages, which was really interesting. Right? Like it was, again, I don't know how accurate these things are, so I don't freaking know. But I am from Louisiana, and so and my mom's side is Cajun, you know, so I know that's probably where the French and some other stuff come from. But yeah, it was interesting for sure. Yeah, for sure. Which was also interesting because my family told me, my dad used to always tell me I had Native American, and you know, which I'm pretty sure everybody in the South, especially in Louisiana, their parents are saying they have Native American in their line. But when I did the test, I didn't have any. I had a very small amount. It was like 0.03% or something. So, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know a lot of LeBlancs. A lot of LeBlancs. Yeah, I mean, Kendall, I'm not saying I am. I'm telling you what the DNA test showed up. And again, it was a small percentage. So even if I did, you probably wouldn't be able to see it at this point since it's like 5% or less. Right? But it was in there. And I do have, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure someone in everybody's family says that 100%. I kept telling my dad, I was like, well, Dad, you know, that didn't show up. That wasn't in the test. It was interesting, though. It's a fun conversation starter, you know. Anyways, Tesla fall down, man. Tesla almost hit 275s, though. Got up to 273.50s yesterday. Look at the NASDAQ breakdown here as well. So the NASDAQ broke down. We got a pretty clear trend, I think, in the NASDAQ also here. Yeah, look at this trend. Definitely a descending wedge, and we just broke under the lows of it. Yeah, you know what? I know, like, my wife did one of those tests, and my wife is Italian, right? So her last name's very Italian. If you heard her last name, which I'm not going to say, but her last name's Italian. When she did one, she didn't have a lot of Italian. She had some other stuff, like some like Iberian and some other stuff that probably could be called Italian. But it's interesting, these tests, and you know, there's a lot of, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but who knows how accurate these tests are, right? And I did mine years ago. Maybe they've gotten more accurate since then, but yeah, for sure. MicroStrategy, yeah, best food in the world for sure. I miss my Louisiana food. What do you think about AMD? I think AMD has earnings this evening, and that's going to be a big microchip catalyst today. We're going to stream AMD earnings also. I'm trying to see when the earnings calls are. AMD's earnings call is at 5 Eastern. Okay, got you. So yeah, we're definitely going to stream. We're going to stream both of them. We're going to stream AMD and Google earnings. And we'll see what happens. Yeah. Mine included Iceland. Yeah, who knows, man. AMD could have a beat. Yeah, I mean, it's microchip, right? So it'll be interesting. I'm not going to speculate on what I think they're going to be because I have no idea. And earnings are always, you know, there is a pattern. So generally speaking, right? And companies try to balance it, but generally speaking, you got to put yourself in these companies' shoes, right? If you're a company, a publicly listed company, like, you want to put out expectations that are as accurate as they can be, but that also you might do a little bit better than, so that you can kind of get a beat in there to boost the stock price. Because your end goal is to make your stock go higher. And so if you're a company, you're going to put out an EPS expectation, or I guess these are analysts. If you're an analyst, you're going to put out an expectation. But a lot of the time, the companies have like a say in that. And, you know, most of the time companies beat, believe it or not. So most of the time when you look at results on earnings, especially recently, companies are doing at least slightly better than expected EPS, at least slightly better than expected revenue. A good example is if I put up the earning whisper for today as an example here. So like, look, if I put up the earnings whisper for today, you can kind of see, like, here's EPS, right? So like, here's EPS, and look at how much. Here's better. Look at all the green. So green is better, red is worse. So like DHI is worse. This is worse, and so you can tell companies are doing generally better than expected, but who knows how far these are going to go, right? All right, so we got that descending wedge. Now we're bouncing up to test the previous resistance of it. I don't know what we're going to do. Part of me wants to short, but I think a short's too obvious here, and I think we might bounce up to like this level right here maybe, and then reject back down. So I'm just going to wait it out and see. We also have some economic reports coming out live at 8:30. They're not a huge report. We've got the good trades balance going live at 8:30. Not a huge report. The Jolts report is much bigger, much more important, much more impactful. We also have CB consumer confidence at the same time as well. We got the Case-Shiller house price index at 9 a.m. also here. So we got some stuff. Your audio is super low. It's just because I'm turning my head, guys. Hey, nice, Faye. Is my audio that bad, bro? I hear people like complaining about it for the last few days. All right, so now we're going to short into this here. So we're going to take 3 contracts. And we're maybe going to add up to 6. So we're going to add up to 6. We've already bounced back a lot. So on these bounces, there's 4 or 5. We're about flat here. And then we're going to take one more and add 6. What a move, though. This thing did push up. I should have waited for my actual level to hit. Alright, so I'm going to start to take at least a little bit of this off. I think I got too big in, and it just bounced back too quickly. Show you my trades there. We'll use 2 contract increments. Yeah, so if I turn my head, it's going to lose. Yeah. So we're going right up to that level we wanted to, but Bitcoin came all the way back down to 71s. I'm getting pretty close to cutting this. Usually when we have a big upwick, we end up filling it on the upside, so I don't really want to get stuck in a big fill on the upside to this level here, but yep, there it goes. We've been taking some trades in this funded account, but haven't really gotten any good rhythm with it. We should have stuck with our original plan. So we just lost like 50 bucks. It's all right. Haven't really gotten very good results here. on this morning. Super random, I think, trend. Not random, actually. That's probably me, just kind of. But here's the trend, right? It's a little bit descending, though, so it's probably more so like this. We just broke down underneath it. Let me fix the bottom angle. So fine, 12 minutes. Yeah, so the earnings calls coming up soon. Yeah, the Jolts report, CB Consumer Confidence. We got Google and AMD earnings later. So pretty big reports. Let's see, how much did we lose? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. We lost about $60 there. So we're down less than 100 today. Not what we want, but it's all good. And now we're coming right back down too. I'm going to wait and get a little bit closer to the open. I noticed yesterday after the open, we got into a really nice rhythm of trading. So we'll probably, per funded account, we'll give ourselves a max loss of $200 per day. And so we still got some room. And on Top Step, on Top Step X, I can give myself a max loss, can't I? I have to mess with this. Can I do that on Top Step X? I'm pretty sure I can. Okay, so yeah, I can all right, so I'm gonna set 250 as my personal daily loss limit, but I'll mess with that later. But yeah, I think that's okay. Copy trading. Okay. Still in that same trend. Longing the E-mini. It's just long in the S&P 500 right now. I think there's a lot of variance in markets. I think we probably will get choppy action today as well, right? So like leading into these big economic reports, I think we're going to get choppy behavior is my guess here. So I think we're going to get choppy behavior leading into these economic reports. And so I think we kind of just got to chill. Again, if you want to check out Top Step with me, so we got funded on 2 different accounts yesterday. So we did get funded on 2 separate accounts yesterday. If you want to try to get funded with me, here's Top Step. They are an affiliate of mine, but it really is the best way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose, right? So if you put up the money yourself, if you risk, here's an example. If you save $5,000 and say, hey, I'm going to try to day trade, and you try to fund your own account with $5,000 trying to day trade stocks or something like that, or even futures, I hate to break it, but you're probably going to lose all of that $5,000. You might think, oh no, I'm only going to risk $1,000. You're not going to have enough buying power most of the time, and you're almost certainly going to lose that entire amount. It makes absolutely no sense to risk your own money and fund your own account in the beginning. It genuinely doesn't, regardless of anything else. And so instead of doing that, you could try Top Step. They give you a demo. The base one's a monthly subscription. And if you were going to pay for real-time data, which they offer in these accounts, like you can kind of see right here, it's going to cost the same. It's going to cost about $50 a month for real-time data. So the value is there. You could pay for this, get the real-time data anyway. It's $49 a month. If you pass the test, you get $50K in funding. They're going to give you a $50K demo. If you can make $3K without losing $2K and following their rules and conditions, they fund you $50K with a 90% split. And so you got to think, like, the 90% split is similar to funding your own account. It's 90% versus 10%. There's a 10% difference there. But the risk is way, way less than funding your own account and losing thousands of dollars, right? You're still probably going to lose because most day traders lose. It doesn't matter where you go, what course you take, what platform you lose. Most day traders lose. It's a lot cheaper to test yourself on Top Step. And if you're good enough, you can pass the test, build up profit, withdraw, and then fund yourself. If you're not good enough, which is going to be most people, you're just going to lose $49. It's not the end of the world. You could always try it again if you want, and that saves traders money, especially in the beginning, but it's like this weird, perfect middle ground of pressure. You still have some pressure. You're still risking something. You're just not risking thousands of your own money funding your own account, and in that regard, it makes perfect sense, right? The only people that hate on this are people who just lose money and they can't blame themselves. They don't want to look introspectively at themselves and they just blame whomever they can, me, Top Step, whoever it is. But the reality of it is this saves traders money. It saved me tons of money. And if I had this in the beginning when I first got started day trading, I absolutely would have used this. The other big edge with Top Step is that there's zero commissions. Like, look at the commissions here. Literally zero. There's a tiny amount of fees. It's 74 cents in fees per trade. That is a tiny amount of fees. Zero commission. That's the single biggest edge in funding. To have almost no fees and commissions per trade, especially with micro contracts, is a huge edge, right? With micro contracts, 74 cents is huge edge. And if you trade the regular E-mini, I think it's like, what is it, like 2 something? So it's a tiny amount of fees per trade. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose, but this is a perfect middle ground of it. If you want to check it out, they're an affiliate of mine. So I'm biased because I get paid, of course. But again, I genuinely think it's a good option for traders. There's the link if you want to check it out. Hmm. 280 on micros. Nice, Faye. Congrats. That's great. Yeah, so that's tiny. All right, chat. 5 minutes until 8:30. We'll see what the good trades balance shows. Yeah, for sure. Well, just most traders lose. Like, it doesn't matter what this happens to a lot of traders, right? Traders try to day trade. They lose. Right, and then they're just looking to blame it on somebody else. They're emotional, like, you know, whenever you stump your toe and then you lash out at whoever's around you, right? Like, if my wife's around and I stump my toe, I might be like, Carol, what the heck? You know, and then when you calm down, you're like, hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lashed out at you for it. That's what traders that are criticizing these things are doing. Like, they lose a bunch of money, they're emotional about it, and they just kind of lash out, right? Really, it has to do with themselves, you know? It's like my counseling session. It has to do with themselves, right? It's deep within themselves. They're just looking to vent. The reality of it is it genuinely saves traders money. Absolutely does. We'll see what the good trades balance shows. The good trades balance is expected at minus 95.9 billion. What this is this is the difference in the value between imported and exported goods. Ideally, we want to export more than we import. Basically, we want other countries to use our goods versus us having to use other countries' goods, right? But generally, that's not how it is. We're usually importing much more than we're exporting. Today, we're expecting minus 95.9 billion, basically minus 96 billion more imports than exports is what this means. So yeah, that's expected there. And the more positive it is, the generally stronger it is for the economy. So we'll see what happens there. Or they blame the market, or they think it's rigged, you know, or whatever it is, right? Like, I've always one of my favorite quotes that I've came up with myself is that nobody cries manipulation more than somebody that's wildly wrong about a prediction. Nobody cries manipulation more, right? You'll hear people say, "Oh, the economy's weak, it's bad," and then the economy data shows up strong. Manipulation, you know. They say, oh, AMC is the strongest stock in the world, and then AMC comes in super weak for earnings. Manipulation! You know, that's what they yell. It happens all the time. Okay, look, it's a couple minutes before. I love you. Ugh, sorry, guys. My wife has the worst timing. Honestly, it starts to frustrate me. It's inconsiderate, to be honest. Like, I'm not gonna vent about it, but man, frustrating. Anyways, guys. Just because I'm paranoid doesn't mean everybody's out to get me. How long do you think it's ideal to pass Top Steps 50K Combine? So I'm doing a video. I'm probably going to upload it today. We got 30 seconds before the good trades balance starts. I'm probably going to upload it today. But in that video, I got funded on these two combines, 50K in 2 days, right? And I'll break down exactly how I did it. But yeah, we're going to upload that video probably after the earnings this evening. Yeah, so here we go. So here's 10 seconds, chat. 10 seconds before the good trades balance drops. All right, so much negative than expected. Much more negative than expected. We came in at minus 108.23 billion versus minus 96 billion expected. Much more negative in terms of much more imports than expected for import-export data. So we basically imported much more than we exported by a larger margin than expected. So we do have some updates from PayPal's numbers here. But yeah, so basically we imported much more than we exported. Yeah, she does it at 7:30 or at 8:30, no matter what. Well, she's bringing the kids to school, and so they want to come in here and say goodbye to me and stuff. But yeah. All right, guys. So again, we got the import-export data out. So we got minus 108.23 billion, minus 108.23 billion. Yeah. So there's the link. So here's the data here for September, minus 108.23 billion versus previous of 94 billion. We expected about 95.5 billion. And so it's the difference between imports and exports. Like ideally, and you can kind of see it doesn't influence. What's up, Britt? If you're watching, what's up, Britt? Everybody say hey to my friend Britt, who's now watching the stream. You know, he doesn't want everybody to know he's watching it, but everybody just make him really uncomfortable and say hey, Britt. I know you're here, Britt. I know you're watching. No, but on a serious note, import-export data, ideally it's better to export. We want other countries to use our goods more than we want them to import other countries' goods, right? It's B-R-I-T. Technically, I think it's B-R-I-T-T, but I still can't get it right after decades of friendship. I don't know which one it is, to be honest. Yeah, they know you're here, Brett. They see you. Yeah, family's more important for sure. I just would love Carol to be like, hey, she knows economic data comes out every day at 8:30, right? So she got to come in at least 5 minutes before or after 8:30. Yeah. LAC. Yeah. All right, guys. But no, Case-Shiller house price index drops in about 30 minutes. So we got the Case-Shiller house price index. All right, so we got the Jolts report, CB consumer confidence data. Sofi earnings are already out. What do you expect from Jolts? Oh, Britt's definitely at least a little embarrassed. That's all right. All right, guys. Hey, so if you haven't already, again, check out Top Step. Top Step funds day traders. So if you want to check it out, I'm down on the day, but if I would have funded my own account, I would have lost much more money here. I'm going to buy this. 4 contracts here. We'll see if we can keep our red streak alive here, and make some, and not, yeah, sorry, I got it backwards. Let's hope we don't keep our losing streak going here, and let's hope we can make money. Again, coming from the top 3 worst day trader of all time, we're in 4 contracts. 4 contracts. I'd like us to push up a little bit more. There we go. All right, we just took half off. Took another piece off, locked it in. See if we can add some more to this. 3 contracts. I like that big down wick. There we go. There we go. Double our size real quick here. All right, so this is our string of trades. We just made about $20 here. You love to see it. We'll take it. We got a nice little bounce. We had some extension on the downside. We kind of have this little wedge forming. We kind of have this little wedge forming, if you guys can see it. Yeah, I met Brent hanging out at the bus stop, so I was driving. I'm not going to say what my first car is, but I was driving first car I ever had. I think I was like 15 too, maybe I was 16. And I met Brent. Brent was walking down the street, and I picked him up. I was with another friend of mine, and I drove him to his house. We've been friends ever since then. Done a lot of dumb stuff together. Cheers to Brent. Everybody say cheers to Brent. Brent, go to sleep, bro. I know you know, Brent has insomnia, so he's still awake right now, probably. But thanks for watching the stream, Brent. Yeah, so again, we got a little breakdown here. Sofi's still falling down some. Yeah, we got the Jolts report. The Jolts job report. Again, we got the Case-Shiller house price index at 9 a.m. So the Case-Shiller house price index drops at 9 a.m. We're going to see what that looks like here today. No, my first car was not a Prelude. That was my favorite car I ever had when I was young. I have a favorite car now, but yeah. I thought the market opens at 9:30. I'm sorry if this is a dumb question. It does. Well, so there's 2 phases of markets, right? There is what's called extended hours trading, which means the market's open, but it's lower liquidity and there's some restrictions on trading, right? This is generally when news releases, economic data comes out. There's 2 phases of extended hours trading. There's pre-market, which is from like 4 a.m. to 9:30. And then there's, so basically from super early in the morning until the opening bell. And again, it's like, if you look at this chart, that's the gray area on SoFi chart here. This is the gray area. It means we're in pre-market. And then there's what's called after hours. So that's from the closing bell until like 8 o'clock at night, right? And then the market's completely closed after hours is over at 8. So from like 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., the market's completely closed. There's no movement. And then from 4 a.m. to 9:30 is pre-market, where it's kind of open, but you can only use limit orders. You can't use market orders. You can't market in or market out to a position. You can only use limit orders. That's when big economic data comes out, is because there's less volatility during that, or there's less liquidity, and so it's not as impactful. And then you have main market hours from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., which is when everything's allowed, basically. Market orders are open. The liquidity is the highest right at the opening bell, and so forth and so on. But that's the stock market specifically, right? So the stock market's always pretty volatile at 9:30 when the market opens, Eastern time. I hope they don't do... Yeah, it wasn't a manual Honda. It was a standard. It was a 5-speed. I learned to drive on a 5-speed. This was back before we knew automatics were going to completely... The problem with, like, I love 5 speeds, right? I genuinely do. I love 5 speeds. I love 6 speeds. I love manual transmissions. The issue, though, is that technology has evolved so much to where it's simply more efficient in an automatic at this point in time. Like, the automatic shifts faster than you ever could. Like, it shifts faster and more efficiently than you ever could at this point in a standard automobile. And that's a sad thing, because I love driving a standard, right? But technology has evolved past it, unfortunately. Now, if you're doing like some really specific type of races, then 5-speed might have some advantages. Like, you're doing some, like, you know, track races and stuff, you could have some advantages with the 5-speed. But we're going in a straight line. Automatics are usually going to beat 5 speeds. But at the same time, I still love driving 5 speeds. Yeah, I remember I learned to drive a 5-speed car, and I peeled out in reverse. My dad showed me how to drive it. Peeled out in reverse. Yeah, I hope they don't do the 22-hour trading thing. The problem with having the market being open for that freaking long, I already got to worry about getting stopped out of stuff, right? Now, imagine I'm in a position for Apple. The good thing about, like, these hours is that the market's going to close when I'm sleeping. So I don't have to worry about some crazy freaking catalyst negatively impacting my position at 1 a.m., right? I don't have to worry about that now because the market's closed and I know I'm going to be able to wake up at least at 4 a.m. if I really need to and, like, get it done. If they make the market open 24/7, who knows what kind of stuff's going to go on while we sleep in markets? Who knows what kind of volatility? Who knows what kind of catalysts that are going to happen in the middle of the night? And so I'm absolutely 100% against market hours being that where they're open a majority of the day like futures, right? It's just too much. It's too much. That's going to give big banks and big institutions much more influence over your positions, and you don't want that, you know. Well, futures are open 24/7. The S&P and the NASDAQ are open 24/7 already. But now imagine you got to worry about individual positions. You know, imagine a company wants to release some data, right? Here's a good example of this. Imagine a company wants to release some data that they're not very proud of, right? Imagine ABC stock has some bad news that it wants to cover, right? Now it wants to kind of put this under, like, do it as subtly as possible. So what's it going to do? It's going to wait until the most illiquid part of the day at 1 a.m. in the morning where no traders are out. He's going to drop that catalyst. When everybody's sleeping, nobody can really stop out of it. Nobody can sell their positions when they want it. And so it's just going to cause problems. There's just going to be a lot of weird stuff that opens up if markets are open 24/7 in that regard for stocks, just because stocks are a different animal than futures. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong. Do you consider yourself a day trader? I mean, I definitely day trade. I'm more of an economist. I like looking at the economy and broad markets and long-term investing and stuff like that. But I day trade, of course. Like, we still day trade. But I think I'm the best at, like, swing trading investing, if I'm being honest. Right? I still day trade. Not even claiming to be a good day trader. But I'm probably the best at investing, swing trading, economics. You know? Again, I've gotten every CPI report correct for the last 5 in a row, I think. You know, people can, like, yesterday I had somebody tell me that I don't provide any value or something, right? But again, like, that person's usually just kind of big mad. I told people a long time ago, you're going to have to watch me grow and it's going to burn. And that's probably what that is. Whoever that is just mad. But the reason I'm saying this, I guess I'm bragging a little bit, but the reason I'm saying this is because a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, everybody was telling you the stock market was about to crash. Everybody was telling you the market was going to burn. It was the end of the world. You better sell your positions. And a lot of people on YouTube were telling people that. They were telling me that I don't know what I'm talking about. They were telling me all this different stuff, right? But when you look back over who was right and wrong in the big picture of things over the past 3 years, I was absolutely right. I told people we didn't have to crash. The biggest edge was on the upside. The S&P did 24% last year, over 20% this year. You know, and a lot of these big old institutional traders, these big YouTubers, these big guys out there that made fun of me, they were wildly wrong about everything. They told you the market was going to crash and burn. They told you we would be in a recession right now. They told you all this different stuff to get you emotional. And so, in the end, try to be objective about that. You know, as much as you might dislike me or whatever it is, when you look back at who was right, I was absolutely right. Top 3 most right in the world, they say. Yeah, so consumer confidence. So Mars is asking me, and again, I don't want you to copy me. I don't want anybody to follow me. I just hope you guys understand the logic I give you. Not an investment professional. Top 3 worst trader of all time ever in the world. But still, the point remains. And now it's crickets, right? You know, now they want to act like they've been acting like this the whole time. But you got to look at the big picture, which is that a lot of people get more clicks when they tell you things are on fire. You know, if they say, oh, the market's on fire, it's going to go down, we're going to crash, it's going to be a recession, you know, they get more clicks. It's also an election year, and so one side's going to be like, hey, it's the worst it could ever be, elect our guy, cough, 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 you know. The other side's going to say, hey, look how great things are, right? The truth is somewhere in the middle. Both of them are wrong. But But in that regard, the way they're wrong is that things aren't necessarily good right now. Inflation has been really rampant over the past 5 years, causing a lot of things rendered unaffordable at this point. But the economy is generally pretty strong right now as well. So we got a strong economy, but massive inflation problems. And so things aren't perfect, for sure. But it's definitely not like a super weak economic state right now, at least when you look at every major metric we can. And that's where a lot of people get it wrong, is like they're so desperate to call things bad right now that they refuse to look at the data objectively. All right. Man, what was I gonna say? Hey, nice coffee. Yeah, they always think this time is different. Everybody the reality of the bias most people have is they just want to be contrarian, right? Like they idolize people like Michael Burry and The Big Short, and they want to be the next big short market crash predictor is what causes a lot of people to get in trouble. The issue though is that those things are very difficult to predict. It's not, and it's generally something where if you listen to everybody yelling fire around you, you're going to be super biased, because no matter where the market is, the market can be super strong, super weak. No matter where it is, somebody's saying a crash is about to happen, right? We could be in the strongest bull market in the world. Somebody out there is telling you the market's about to crash. And so that's not an accurate gauge of whether we're genuinely about to crash, right? Like that's just people wanting to predict that. And eventually we are going to crash. Like no matter what happens, eventually it's going to happen, you know, but it doesn't mean the people yelling it 3 years ago were correct, because obviously they weren't at this point in time. The big risks here and now are obviously the election is going to play a factor. Like that's a big thing where the election's going to happen. That's a big risk that might influence everything else and cause some rippling effects next year. The Fed's rate decisions, whether the Fed starts to do quantitative easing, which is a form of money printing in which the bank or the Federal Reserve creates bank reserves online and then uses those bank reserves to buy financial assets like bonds, but that causes inflation problems, right? So it's a form of money printing. It does cause inflation problems. So whether the Fed decides to do QE, what this week is a really important gauge of economics, though. It really is. So this week today we got the Jolts report, which is jobs. We have CB consumer confidence, which is basically whether people think the economy is strong or not. We also have AMD and Google earnings this evening. Tomorrow we got prelim payroll numbers, GDP data, so actual GDP data. It's expected at 3%, which is generally pretty strong, right? That's what it was last time, was 3 or 3.1%. So GDP data is expected tomorrow. Really, really important. Thursday, we have PCE data, which is inflation data. It's the personal consumption expenditure. Core PCE is the most important one, but it's actually what the Fed uses to gauge inflation over CPI or something like that. PCE is what the Fed uses, so it's much more relevant for Fed decisions, like what the Fed's going to do. It's much more of a read on what the Fed might do in November based off of PCE data. If PCE, as an example, is higher than expected, if inflation is worse, they're going to be a lot less likely to cut rates aggressively. Although if inflation is better, they're going to be a lot more likely to cut rates more, if that makes sense. Right now, they're expecting 25 basis points. We also have jobless claims on Thursday, which is unemployment filings. And then what else do we have? And then Friday, we have non-farm payrolls and unemployment data. So unemployment, I think it's expected at 4.5%. Let me see what unemployment is expected for on Friday. And yes, I know when I turn my face like this, it's going to make the sound cut out. Payroll is only expected at 111,000. Unemployment is expected at 4.1%. So yeah, unemployment around 4%. What's your long-term view on hydrogen? I think hydrogen is interesting, but there's a lot of variance with it, Stoned. So like hydrogen's interesting. Whether hydrogen technology is going to replace the current EV technology, or whether they're going to have some type of hybrid system with hydrogen, is really speculatable. But I think there's a lot of variance with it. I think it could happen. It could be a big bet, but it also might turn the other way and not hit, if that makes sense. And so potential, yes. Probability wise, I don't know. I don't think it's super predictable. Yeah, so we got the Case-Shiller house price index. So if you want to read on real estate, that drops in 11 minutes. How do you feel about them cutting rates again at 25? I think that I would prefer them to cut rates 25 basis points over 50. But I think there's also a chance they don't cut rates at all. Although the last time I looked at it here, it was, yeah, so right now it's a 95% chance they cut rates 25 basis points. So here's 25. And then this is 0 cut or no cut. So pretty probable 95 to 5% chance that they're going to cut rates 25 basis points. Now, again, GDP data, PCE data, payroll data, unemployment data, these all might influence these probabilities here for rate decisions, but it's still relevant to watch and look at, you know. Put some respect on hydrogen's name. Yeah. Well, it's a strong stock, Thomas, to be fair, you know. I still think they shouldn't really cut rates anymore. Prices are still way too high. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with them cutting rates as long as they don't do QE. I don't want them to do quantitative easing. I think they're actually in the period where they're still doing quantitative tightening, so they're reducing their balance sheet, taking liquidity away from those markets and trying to discourage spending in that regard. But yeah, it's a nuanced subject for sure. We'll see. I think this week's going to be a big telling week for what they decide to do. Again, the next 2 weeks are like the Super Bowl of stuff in finance, right? We got all the data we talked about this morning, as well as Amazon, Apple earnings, Snapchat earnings, AMD, Google earnings today. We've got Microsoft, Meta earnings Wednesday. And then next week, we have the Fed decision. So what the Fed actually does with their rates is next week. That's going to be a big decision. And then the week after that, we have CPI inflation data too. So I mean, day trader, it's impossible for me to tell what kind of sizing you should take, brother. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose, and I genuinely have no idea how you should be trading, day trader. The way I specifically do it, and again, I'll probably have a video that I debut today. The way I do it is I take risks when I'm trying to get funded, and then once I'm funded, I scale down. And so when I'm trying to get funded, I usually trade like regular E-mini, not micro contracts, regular E-mini contracts, and I try to make a couple big swings trades. What I usually do is I trade large until I get to where I'm like $200 or $300 away from my profit target. And then once I'm there, I scale down to micros and I finish the rest off with micros with less risk so that I have the highest chance, because I don't want to get to where I'm $200 or $300 away from getting funded and then give it all back trading too large. And so I take risks, and sometimes I have to reset leading up to getting funded. And then once I'm actually once I'm very close to it, within a few $100, I scale down to micros and chop the rest of the way off with micros. All right. So again, the Case-Shiller house price index in 8 minutes. Yeah, so Look at this big bounce in the market. All right, so we got the Jolts report going live. We got the Case-Shiller in about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, I'm not going to talk about politics, regardless of whether it's economy related. I'm just not going to touch on that. Yeah, lithium's interesting. Well, here's the thing, right? So I hear a lot of people talking about investing in lithium. Like in like commodities, right? Like investing in lithium, kind of like investing in gold. The problem is that if lithium really is that needed for future technology, there's going to be an incentive to keep the price of it down, right? It's one of the reasons you see silver lag a little bit behind gold, is because silver's more needed for technology and like smartphones and stuff like that. And so there's an interest in keeping it lower versus gold, which is used less. It's still used, but it's used less in technology. And so gold is looked at more so as an investment, you know, like a hedge against stuff, versus silver, which is a little bit more utility driven. And I think the same nuance can be there with regards to lithium, where you're going to need lithium a lot for EVs, mining, and stuff like that. They might try to keep the price down so that their EVs are more affordable. And that's the only thing about it. I think it's still going to be highly needed. But yeah, that's my take on it. That's the NASDAQ futures contract. It's basically the futures contract of the QQQ CS. So CS says, what is the micro NASDAQ? So it's basically the NQ and the micro NQ. So where a lot of it would be is slash NQ, which is the NASDAQ, or slash MNQ, which is the micro NASDAQ. It's the same thing. One of them has smaller size. So one of them is the equivalent in futures of trading like, the micro NASDAQ is the equivalent of trading like 125 shares of something, where every ticket moves up and down. It's like $1.25. The other one, or no, maybe it's $1. So, or maybe it's 50 cents. So yeah, so the micro NASDAQ, every tick up or down is the equivalent of having 50 shares. The regular NASDAQ, it's the equivalent of having 500 shares, right? So there's just sizing differences, but the price action is the same, whether it's the micro NASDAQ or the regular NASDAQ. But aside from that, it's very similar to day trading stocks. The reason the rest is on there is because they go by contracts, and every quarter the contract has to, quote, roll over, which means that the contract expires. You have to move on to the more liquid contract. Yeah, you're not supposed to invest in futures. It's more so something that you short-term trade, because you have to roll over the contract every quarter. So every 3 months you have to sell, basically, and move over to a new contract. And so you're not going to be able to hold it long-term. I mean, you could always average into the next one and stuff, but yeah. So if you're going to try to trade futures, again, I would try Top Step. First, if you've never traded futures before, I would try Top Step. They're a funded program. They give you a demo. They test your skill. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose $49. But it's a good introduction to it. If you lose, it's not the end of the world. You're out $50 instead of funding your own account and experimenting with futures by yourself. That's a really risky thing. But again, they're a sponsor of mine, so I'm biased, of course, because I get paid by them. Just understand these rules. You can find the link in the description if you want. All right, so the Case-Shiller is about to drop in 2 minutes, but a little bit less than that now. Really, it's about a minute and a half. Case-Shiller today is expected. Case-Shiller today is expected at 4.9% year over year. 4.9%. Case-Shiller is the house price index. It is how much. It's the change in the selling price of single-family homes. They're expecting just under a 5% uptick year over year. Is what they're expecting. Last time it was 5.9%, so it is a little bit lower than than last time. But again, this is relevant for real estate related stuff like the Vanguard ETFs or stuff like that. But this is not super impactful over markets. Again, the Jolts report is going to be much bigger in an hour, along with CB consumer confidence. Do you trade options? I trade them a little bit. Not a huge amount. So we're almost up to 12 million views for my channel. So appreciate the love, guys. 12 million views is crazy. All right, so the Case-Shiller's out. We came in at 5.2%, so slightly higher than expected. My bad, guys. I'm a little bit late. Slightly higher than expected at 5.2% for the Case-Shiller. So over expected numbers. So Case-Shiller. Let me put this up. So 5.2% versus 4.9% expected. So there's the Case-Shiller data right there. I get 4.2%. You're 5.2% versus 4.9% expected. Hey, laters, Thomas. Have a good day. All right, so we got the Jolts report, guys, in about 40 or about 58 minutes or so, 58 minutes, give or take. Yeah, so we're up a little bit. Case-Shiller data came in a little bit higher than expected, showing an increase in house prices by a small margin more than expected. The big report today is the Jolts report, though, chat. So the big report today. So the Jolts job opening report drops right here at 10 a.m. along with CB consumer confidence data. It's expected at, for Jolts report today, it's expected at 7.98 million. 7.98 million. So CB consumer confidence data today is expected at 99.5. Okay, so we'll put this up on screen. There we go. So CB consumer confidence data. We'll make ourselves a little bit larger here. Let me actually fix this. I want this to be a little bit higher, especially if I'm trading futures. Could probably show up maybe right there. There we go. Yeah, Sofi earnings are already out. They came in better than expected. Here's Sofi earnings right here. So they showed up at 5-cent profit versus 4 cents expected. Revenue of 680 million versus 630 million expected. Fiscal year EPS guidance came in at 12 cents versus 11 cents expected. Fiscal year revenue guidance came in at 2.55 billion versus 2.45 billion expected. So better than expected guidance, EPS, and revenue for Sofi, and it did pretty good on their numbers. The market's still kind of flat though, chat. So one thing that you see here, probably because we've got so many big earnings and economic reports this week, we are seeing very, very choppy action in markets right now. Very, very choppy action. So we're going to short into this pop. 3 contracts, 4 contracts. See if we can get something here. Nice little breakdown. We will add up to 6 contracts here if we need to. It's the most pleasant trading music. All right, so there's 6. We're going to use 2 contract increments. Now, I'm going to cut a piece of this here. This is too much. So we're going to limit our risk to 4 contracts now. And it looks like that was the right move. Just too big of a move up. We'll get out. Going back and forth here. We're making some, losing some. You can kind of see it right there. That's all right. I want to bet on choppiness, but yeah, we might have made money there too, but we'll trade a little bit actively, a little bit more actively closer to the opening bell. You know, I'm going to buy this now. I might get, the risk here is that I get stopped out on both sides, but we are trading very small today, chat. I think a lot of people are going to be shorting here, and then they might get squeezed out. See, if I was trading larger, I would catch it. See, this is what I might need to scale up my size. There we go. All right, so we made money there. Small amount, but we made something. So now we're in 4 contracts. Tiny amount of profit per trade though. We're not really getting what we want here. We've got a nice little string of trades, but I need to scale up is what I'm showing here. So we made something, even, and the good thing about Top Step X is again 0 commissions here, so that's good. But and we were correct about the price action, but still I got to scale up my size there. It's too small. Yeah, so it's futures contracts. So Robinhood doesn't have futures. Hamilton. Again, if you want to try Top Step, again, link is in the description. But they don't have futures on Robinhood. Yeah, Google earnings are after the closing bell today. Yeah, if y'all want to learn more about futures, check out the link in the description. It's a good way to learn, but I'm not trying to do too much of a plug today right now just because, yeah. I'm using Top Step X, which has 0 commissions. So we're correct about this directional trade. I'm going to scale up my size as we get closer to the opening bell, though. All right, so big pullback. So a big pullback here. Mag 7, yeah, a lot of stuff going on with earnings this week will be volatile. All right, we got 45 minutes left, chat. 45 minutes left. Yeah, so we got 45 minutes, almost there. Very flat range, though. We are kind of slightly trending upward in markets. Slight upward trend, but not a crazy amount. All right, so look at this turnaround here. So big retracement. So I'm going to short this now, even though we're kind of flat. Take 4 up to 6 contracts here. 4, 5, 6, 6. And then we'll take 2 contract increments. There we go. Didn't get a good fill on it though, but we'll hold the rest since we're pretty green on the rest. There we go. Pretty good string of green trades here, but we'll get out the rest there. So not a bad little string of trades here, but these are tiny trades. Let me see what I'm up or down on. I do need to scale up my size as we get at the opening bell. I really do. Maybe I'll trade the regular E-mini. Oil hates me today. Hey, thank you, Sam. All right, guys. Hey, we got 15 minutes until the opening bell. 71% are bullish on the opening, or on the Jolts report going live. So we're almost there. So John says, I would trade many with the risk you take. Do you mean I take too much or too little risk? Yeah, I thought it was a double T. My friend Britt said, of course, double T in my name. I thought it was a double T, just to clarify, you know. Bro, I can't, like, I see some guys, man, and it's kind of like my wife showed me this a few days ago. She showed me this guy who sent her a friend request, and like, this dude is still, he's like almost 40, and he's trying to be a rapper. It's this white guy, you know, and like, it doesn't matter, you know, but he's from the suburbs, you know. But like, when you look at his persona, he is like the most gangster rap guy I've ever seen, you know. And he's almost 40, and he like doesn't have like much of a following, but he's acting like he's famous on social media. And you know, I can't help it but judge a little bit. I know I'm judgmental. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to be. But it makes me want to just kind of reach out to him and be like, yo, bro, you're almost 40. I think I said this the other day, but what was, like, I'm a rap nerd myself. I still listen to rap, right? But what was cool for us as almost 40-year-olds, and I'm not almost 40, I still got some time, just to clarify. I'm dreading the day I turned 40. But what was cool to me in 2010 is not cool anymore. Like, you're not going to be able to rap like we rapped in 2010 and then think that young people are going to be like, yeah. Like, of course not. You know, like, these should be very obvious things, too. But, you know, live your life, I guess. I can't judge too much. I feel bad for him, you know. I really do. Like, I feel bad for him. Because, again, like, my wife came up to me, and I kind of knew who he was. My wife came up to me, she's like, hey, look at this guy. I'm just kind of like, yeah. And I think, like, if people don't have much going for them, like, I get it, like, wanting to do something. But you got to make smart decisions about what you try to do. You can't try to be a rap star at 40. I just don't think it's going to happen, you know. You got to go with the higher probability thing. You know, the problem with, like, here's the real problem. Is that it's kind of a cliched saying, but at this point they're like, be whatever you want to be and do whatever you want to do, and you can do it. If you just put your mind to it, you can do it. And that's not true at all. That's not true at all. If I want to fly around the world, like, with wings, I can't do that. You know, if I wanted to join the NBA right now, that ain't about to happen, you know? And so there are some limits. You can't do whatever you want to do. You got to take the most probable things sometimes that you enjoy. And I think that's where the issue lies, is that, you know, it's kind of modern culture. Do it. You can do it if you just put your mind to it. No, you can't in some ways. That's not true at all. But cheers to you guys. Cheers to me joining the NBA. Coming soon, I guess. Maybe. If I just put my mind to it, guys, I'm going to do it. What if bro does well in the trap and just raps as a hobby? Then let him live his life. I'm not judging, right? But just don't act like you're famous online when you got like 30 views and like you're out here. I don't think I'm famous right now, and I got 500 something people here. I'm definitely not famous, right? The only way people would ever know me outside of y'all is if I went to like a very specific investors conference. Maybe a small percentage of people would be like, hey, that's John. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too judgy. I can't help it though. Human natures are naturally judgy to begin with. So like the whole thing about you're being judgy, it's like everybody judges. They just might not be vocal about it. How's the contract with Sony going? When keeping it real goes wrong? Oh, I'm close to 40. I'm getting there. I'm in my mid 30s, you know. Top 3 rappers of all time, Sugar Hill. Again, I'm from Louisiana, so like Lil Wayne's got to be at the top, right? If I had to pick my top 5, it would be like Lil Wayne, Tupac. Tupac might be above Lil Wayne, is like, but I'm from Louisiana, so like I gotta have my loyalty with Lil Wayne. So Lil Wayne, Tupac. If it was me, like my personal preference, I would put like Young Jeezy at like number 3. You know, a lot of y'all are too young to remember Young Jeezy, but that's okay. And then like Lil Boosie and Webby would be somewhere in that mix. I would go with like B.I.G. I don't know who I'd go with top 4 or 5. It would be close, but it would be like Tupac. It would be like Lil Wayne, Tupac, Biggie. It's hard. The you know, Young Jeezy is, I would go with number 4. Number 5, probably like Kendrick at number 5. You know, so like that would be my top 5, but it's close. It's arguable. Yeah. Nas, I can respect what Nas has done, but he was never in my top 5. Look, I'm from Louisiana. Don't judge me for having Lil Wayne in my top 5. Y'all just don't know, okay? The Carter 1, 2, and 3, some of the best rap albums of all time. All right. And that's just my top 5. Like Wu-Tang would certainly be in like the top 10. Yeah. Master P would definitely be in there, you know, in the top 10. There's a lot of Louisiana, like Boosie and Webby would be in the top 10. Like, there's a lot of people. I'm from Louisiana. You got to remember. It's just different. It's just different, you know. You got to be from, are you from California, Harris? Yeah, Gucci Mane was good before, like, pre-Ice Cream Tattoo. He was good. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to stocks because I'm probably staying a little bit too long on this topic. Anyways, we got 6 minutes left until market opens. We'll see what we get. Chat. Yeah, it's super subjective. So, like, we can have different, you know.
Michigan. Okay, yeah. Michigan's got some good rappers. I mean, I know Eminem is kind of like the stereotypical. I was never like when I was in middle school, Eminem was big, but I never really listened to him outside of like middle school when the Marshall Mathers stuff dropped. Like that's the only time I ever, when like 8 Mile came out and all that stuff. Like I was never really big into him as I got older. You know, I never really listened to him. It was too angry of music for me, right? Like it was just too angry of music. And I know this might ruffle some feathers, but like it's just not my style of music. Anyways, Tesla breaking over the highs of pre-market. So Tesla just broke over pre-market highs. Is at 263.60s. Best movies? I'm like a Pulp Fiction person. I love Pulp Fiction. It's probably my number one. Pulp Fiction, I would go with like that or like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. You know, there's some other movies. Like I like Interstellar a lot. I'm a big Quentin Tarantino person. I like Quentin's movies. But it varies, right? There's a lot of arguments. Lord of the Rings definitely up there for sure. But you got to take into account the whole trilogy. The best single movie, I would go like Pulp Fiction or something. Favorite finance film? Big Short, probably. Big Short, Margin Call are both really good. Wolf of Wall Street's good for different reasons. Anyways, guys, we got 4 minutes. Market's very flat and choppy. It's not really doing anything, though. And so, like, it's kind of sideways, not really moving. Yeah. Tropic Thunder. Yeah. The original Wall Street was good. The problem with the original Wall Street, it's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street, where like it's good, but it also kind of makes you feel bad. Like it's not the happiest movie of all time. It kind of just makes you feel bad. Sofi with earnings. T&E, yeah. Margin Call very dark, but very good. All of them kind of make you feel bad. Oh, some of them do. The first half of Wolf of Wall Street's fun, you know. The second half's really kind of sad. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Big Short. I don't know if it makes you feel good, but it's educational. Gucci Mane. Yeah. Gucci Mane was good when he did like Trap House or when he did like the no pad, no pin freestyle or like that type of stuff. Again, after that, he kind of, I don't know. Again, everybody's bias towards music is what they grew up with. When you hit your like age 15 to 25 years, that's usually the music you like throughout your whole life. Everybody kind of stalls after that. And I like some like newer music, but it's just harder to relate to because I'm old. All right, we have 2 minutes. 2 minutes, guys. I've seen the first couple seasons of Billions, but it kind of got old after that. But it was good. I liked it. Fight Club's good. Yeah, it's good. All right, hey, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Look at Tesla rip up. So Tesla's actually moving up. It's kind of dragging the market up with it. So I'm going to put Tesla up on this bottom chart. Tesla's starting to come back up a little bit, though. It did break pre-market highs just now. We got a minute and a half until market opens. Billions is good. It just got stagnant. Boiler Room is good. So here's a fun fact. So Boiler Room is the same... is based around the same thing as the Wolf of Wall Street. So Boiler Room and the Wolf of Wall Street are actually about the same thing. They're both true stories about whatever the real name for Stratton Oakmont was, right? They're both around the same bank, the same trading firm. The same thing Wolf of Wall Street's about is the same thing Boiler Room is about. They're a little bit different in story, but essentially the same thing. Yeah, I like Mr. Robot. I've seen a couple seasons of it. I didn't get to the end, though. We got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds. All right, here's the opening bell, guys. Yeah, 20 seconds. All right, here's the bell. All right, there's the bell. NASDAQ pushing up, leading into the opening bell. Tesla turned immediately, but, you know, these can always retrace really quickly at the opening bell. Sofi falling down. So Sofi has dropped from $12 down to 10.50s. NASDAQ still pushing up some. We got to put NVIDIA up here as well, I think. Yeah, NVIDIA up to 140s. We're watching Sofi closely after the opening bell, though. All right, guys, so big dip. We got less than 30 minutes now until the Jolts report goes live. We also have CB Consumer Confidence at around the same period. Yeah, SoFi's down to 1030s. Market's falling down a little bit. Tesla falling down some. I'm going to put NVIDIA. Oh. I'm going to put NVIDIA up here. What have I done? NVIDIA falling down some too. Weak trend so far. All right, look at Palantir dump as well, chat. All right, guys, so big pullbacks here at the opening bell. We're going to wait and maybe enter in some stuff here. Didn't really get the best fill, and that's all right. Let's see if we get a retracement back up. Bad fill again. We got 3 contracts here, but not really looking great. So we lost another 50 or 60 bucks. We're just not doing that great at the opening bell. Let me see what I'm down on the day. I don't. If I'm down over $200, yeah. So we got a little bit left. I'm gonna wait and let things play out. We're trading micros, but it's kind of costing us. NVIDIA dropping down some too. Yeah, I'm trying to bet on choppiness. Is why kind of like we're doing this, but I'm gonna buy this down here. 2 contracts. We'll add some more. Try to take a longer term trade, but we're probably trading a little bit too close to the opening bell here, guys. Right, big retracement. All right, we just took half off just to protect the trade. Took another little bit off. We might add it back here. Looking for it to stabilize. Took another little bit off. 2 contracts now. Took some more off. going to get out the rest there. So we got out for a small little win. And maybe we got out a little early, but we just needed a win, to be honest. Going to slowly try to chip away at this. We're going to buy this down here too. 2 contracts. Took some more off there. So it looks like it wants to be weak here, but I think there's a chance it rebounds back up too. I gotta cut that. So we're still green in the last few trades, but too much red action coming through. Bad fill. I wanted to, like, it's hard to explain. Like, all right, so we'll get out there. We just made that right back. I'm trying to attack choppiness leading into the Jolts report. The Jolts report goes live at 10 a.m., so in about 24 minutes. So we're trying to attack choppiness. And we're green since the opening bell, so you can kind of look at the string of trades we got in. Actually, we might not be green, but we're close to green since the opening bell. And eventually we're going to turn. Look at Sofi come all the way back down to $10 a share, giving all of the gains back. Wow. And there's the big rebound that we were looking for the whole time. Just, you know, took the quick profit. If we drop down some more, we'll buy it up, but we got to drop more. Yeah, just didn't quite catch it. So there's the big rebound. Didn't quite catch it. Watching it at the opening bell. Again, I'm still convinced we might get choppiness. Nvidia's bouncing all the way back up to 140. All right, so we're going to buy this up. 3, 4. We'll take up to 6. 5. A lot of volume, a lot of back and forth. Almost flat. Add some. Take 2 contract increments. There we go. Terrible fills. I'm gonna add to this. Somehow we locked it in. Not really getting the best fills, but we're correct about our ideas here. All right, so we ended up green on that string of trades somehow. You can kind of see we made $4.50, $13.50, $5, lost 8, made 11. So here's 22. 22 minus 8 would be 16. Makes that 21 plus. So yeah, we made about 35 bucks, almost $40 there on that string of trades. So far, so good. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, doing better. Chipping away. Yeah. Alright, so we made money on that one, but we got out. I feel like it's gonna come down. I might be wrong though. There's a lot of variance ahead of this Jolts report. So again, this jobs report is gonna go live in 20 minutes, chat. Yeah, it's halted on the upside at 54s. All right, guys, we got 20 minutes before the Jolts report goes live. So yeah, there's the downward pressure that we thought we might get. I was trying to short the top of this. That's a big retracement, but and we'll add up to 5 contracts, but it looks like we've been wrong about this so far. Let's see if we get a dump. Terrible fills on my trades, but they're micro contracts, which is all right, but obviously I would have loved to catch more from that. All right, well, we got green. We're kind of chipping away at our losses, but could have been better. If jobs data comes in strong, what does that mean for markets? Well, it means stronger economic data. We don't know how the market's going to respond, but higher Jolts report is stronger economics. So again, the Jolts report measures job vacancies. So what it measures is how many businesses are hiring. So a higher number means more businesses are hiring, which signals economic growth. Like the stronger the economy is, the more businesses are able to hire more and more people in terms of like business growth, if that makes sense. So that's what the Jolts report gauges, is that type of business growth, if that makes sense. So yeah, the Jolts report released by the U.S. It tracks job openings, hires, and separations. It offers insight into labor demand and workforce dynamics, including how many positions remain open, how many workers are hired, and the rate of voluntary or involuntary separations. A high number of job openings typically signals strong labor demand, which can drive wage growth and economic expansion. Declining openings may indicate softening demand. All right, so look at this big rebound in markets. Very flat leading into this report. We got 18 minutes, chat. 18 minutes. All right, we got the jobs data today. It's a big day, Chad. It's a big day. When is the report live? It goes live in 17 minutes. 17 minutes. We're almost there. We've been day trading. We're going to day trade a little bit more. Short. 3. I'm going to cut a piece of this just because I don't trust it. We might go in my favor, but yeah, it looks like it was a good move to cut it. gonna cut another piece, just because I don't like the risk. Yeah, it might end up turning back down, but we're just so choppy right now. I don't trust this to break out of the opening trend and just start dumping. Amazon looks like a U-shaped breakout potential, so that's what I don't want to get stuck in. Yeah, we're gonna stream AMD Google earnings this evening. Y'all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We cover every major economic report live on stream. So stick around. We will cover all this stuff live. We got 15 minutes until the Jolts report happens. Yeah, everything. That's you can see why I cut it early here. It's because it does start to look like a cup and handle breakout. I don't think it's going to go on forever, though. But, alright, so we're going to add to a winning trade. I just want to see if it turns on everybody. There's the turn. Alright, so we just made everything back there, which is nice. I thought it would turn down. You could buy this turn up, but I tend to think it's going to come right back down and behave in a choppy trend. Everybody's getting too excited for the breakout. I think it's probably going to come back down. I think it's risky, though, and I think there's a lot of variance either way. I think it could go either way. We're going to try to bet on that thesis here, but who knows? Alright, so far so good. We ended up being correct on that. Chipping away at it. I thought we would come back down. Again, a lot of the time I see these U-shaped breakouts fail short term, and then maybe they work long term, but everybody starts to get excited about the breakout, and what ends up happening is that we just confirm a choppy, neutral direction. You know, like I see this a lot. Like inversing the U-shaped breakout pattern. I see that a lot. All right, guys, we got 13 minutes left. 13 minutes. We still got 600 people watching live. We'll see what the Jolts report shows. We're going to short this too. See if we come back down. All right, we did. Where are we at now with this account? Yeah. Definitely doing better on it. Correct about our thesis here too. Everybody gets too excited for that breakout right there. All right, so look at the drop in Tesla, Amazon, SPY. Yep. Now we're gonna start to buy this up. Or maybe just get punished. Or maybe not. Maybe we're gonna be. Let's retrace. Back up. There we go. I gotta take at least a little bit off here, limit my risk, and we'll play with 2 contracts. a longer term trade. We'll let it sit. There we go. Add to it. Lock it in. Alright. Okay, see, I do so much better after the opening bell. I read markets better. So, like, look at this. So, here's my trades today. Like, I just read the market so much better. I start my stream so early sometimes that I get kind of bored early in the morning. So, I try to day trade, but I just read the market so much better after the opening bell. It's just easier to read. So, yeah, we had 4 losses out of 20 trades here. So, that's 80%. Sofi, I don't know. I don't know why Sofi's down. I think the whole market's waiting for this Jolts report to go live, though. All right, guys, get ready. The Jolts report going live in 10 minutes. 9 minutes here. 9 minutes, chat. What do you guys think? Do you guys think bullish or bearish Jolts report? Bullish or bearish? Eight minutes. Yeah, I mean, it's a different dynamic, though. So people saying I'm impatient or whatever. There's a different dynamic. Like, you have to think about it like this, right? Like, not only am I trading, but I'm also running a streaming business, right? So if I don't ever trade, then it's gonna be a little boring. So I try to trade a little bit earlier, so it gives me something to do early on the streams. But sometimes it's to my detriment. But at the same time, I'm also making money on the back end of it anyway, and so like I'm making money every day, no matter what. But trading wise, I need to be more patient because I do tend to do much better after the bell, like without question, better after the opening bell. All right, guys, we got 7 minutes. 7 minutes left. Yeah, we don't have as many like Jerome Powell. All right, guys. Market's very choppy. Look at NVIDIA here on the bottom right chart leading into this Jolts report. It's very choppy. We also have CB consumer confidence against Jolts is expected at 7.98 million, along with CB consumer confidence at 99.5 million. So we got all this stuff dropping soon. You can kind of see what they're expected at. Ford earnings was yesterday. So Ford earnings were yesterday. We do some analysis. Like I'm telling you guys about the system. So the system that I'm using here, one thing I noticed is that these cup and handle breakouts, especially like here's the edge, right? If you want to know what I was doing today, like how I was able. So what I did was, number one, where's my bias on the day? Where's my bias? My bias is that we're going to have flat, choppy action. Why do I think we're going to have flat, choppy action? I think we're going to have flat, choppy action because we have big economic reports in 6 minutes. And so leading into these economic reports, what happens? We get choppy, sideways, neutral activity. It's kind of boring. A lot of the time we don't run big because the economic reports are going to trigger sometimes the opposite direction relative to where the traders take it. And so if we got a big bull run, the Jolts report can just dump that down. And so traders are more apprehensive. They're less likely to take big positions leading into big reports like today with the Jolts report. Specifically because they don't want to get faked out. And so what happens leading into this report is that we're going to have sideways, choppy, neutral activity. If you look at NVIDIA behaves in the similar way, where it's basically flat, choppy. The NASDAQ doing the very similar thing. And so my bias is a sideways, neutral range leading into this report. A boring sideways, neutral range leading into the report. That's my first bias. And so once we know that we're probably going to trend sideways and neutral, we start to attack that trend, right? So when we get up here, we start shorting. That's why we shorted this top. Up here, when we get down here, we start buying. We start buying this bottom. Now, we do have like a little bit of an ascending shape here, but still, like, that's what I'm doing here. That's the trades that I'm taking. I don't know what the Jolts report is going to be. I really don't. Nobody does. You know, we don't. Not only do we not know what the Jolts report will be, we don't know the stock market's reaction to it. So who knows? Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think we're going to get bullish or bearish action on the Jolts report in 4 minutes? Bull or bear action, chat. Let me know. I think it varies a lot, but we could go either way here. Tesla breaking down. Tesla at 259s right now. Amazon completely flat. SPY is testing the 200 EMA highs. Yeah, you can vote on the poll. We got about 700 here. We still got 4 minutes left. So, big bear, neutral, no comment. Bear, bullish. A lot of corporations do layoffs in the fourth quarter too. Not all. Yeah, some of them. Sometimes layoffs can benefit stock price though. They see it as margin improvements. Would like to see bullish. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see bullish too. Now, the report's in 4 minutes. 3.5 minutes, really. But yeah, report's coming soon. Also, if you haven't already subscribed, hit the notification bell. I appreciate it. You know, thanks so much. We're pushing towards 150,000. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to ignore the call because Carol has the worst timing I've ever seen anybody ever have, ever. I love her, but terrible. Absolutely horrible timing. All right, guys, we got 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Yeah, so again, Jolts report today, guys, it's expected at 7.98 million. CB consumer confidence is expected at 99.5. So again, we got 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes left. It's not. I know exactly what she's calling me for. She calls me for the same reason every day. But yeah. Yeah, she just texted me what it was. It's fine. All right, guys, we got 2.5 minutes left. 2.5 minutes. All right, 2 minutes, guys. Let me know in chat right now. Bullish or bearish, up or down, green or red, optimistic or pessimistic. What do you guys think? You need to send her the economic calendar. I really do, honestly. She needs to know it. All right, chat. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. She's checking on the top 3 trader of all time. Definitely top 3. All right, so NVIDIA leading up to the Jolts report just broke highs. So look at this high break. So it broke highs of market hours. It's pushing back down some, but you kind of see the similar trend in this trend here. We got less than 2 minutes, guys. Less than 2 minutes. I'll put a timer up now. I probably should have a timer. All right, so this timer's pretty accurate for you guys. Pretty accurate for you guys. We got 1.5 minutes left, guys. 1.5 minutes left. Yeah, the poll's not going to be accurate. It's just gauging sentiment. What do you guys think Jolts comes in as? It's expected at 7.98 million. 7.98 million. What do you guys think? We got 1 minute left. 1 minute left. We got about 800 live here. I need a drum set. I need a soundboard is what I need, honestly. All right, chat. 1 minute left. We got almost exactly 1 minute left. What do you guys think it's going to be? Personally, my bias is that it's going to be higher than expected. I think it's going to be like 8.03 million or something like that. I might be wildly wrong, not an investment professional. Straight up guess here. Do not copy me. I think it's going to be like 8.0 something million. So again, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thanks so much. We got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left. Give me your last minute predictions. 8.4. Definitely need some kind of sound. Yeah. All right, here we go. 10 seconds. I'm gonna time this. I'm gonna turn the timer off. All right, remember it's expected at 7.98 million. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. $7.44 million, lower than expected. $7.44 million, lower jobs openings than expected. $7.443 million, lower than expected. CB consumer confidence hasn't come out yet, but $7.443 million, lower than expected. Lower than expected. 7.44 versus 7.98 expected. Lower jobs numbers than expected. Jolts report lower than expected at 7.44 million versus 7.98 million expected. So again, lower than expected. Jolts missed on the downside here. Weaker than expected. 7.44 versus 8 expected. So it looks like I was wrong, but again, I'm not gonna get every freaking one right. CB consumer confidence isn't out yet. They're kind of late. Market didn't really move much either on this report, but yeah, lower than expected. 7.443 versus 7.98. Well, it shows a weaker economy. It shows a weaker economy than expected. All right, guys. So again, Jolts report lower than expected. I don't see. Okay, CB consumer confidence is out. It's at almost 109, at 107. So I'll put this up on screen. CB consumer confidence came in. Showed up at 108.7 versus 99.5 expected. I'll put that up on screen too, so you guys can see it. All right, so here is the full economic release day. I'm going to short this pop. There's 3 contracts. We'll take up to 6. Like we've been doing most of the morning. And maybe get it wrong here, just getting punished on the upside, and then we're retracing back down some here too. Weird. Yeah, I got to cut this. Probably not a good idea to short and leading into these big economic reports. We'll see if we turn around. We're almost turned around here. Hold on. I'm going to cut a little bit here. Get out of this, so if it doesn't go in my favor, I'm okay. Wow. Okay. Honestly, could have been worse. Ooh, well, we lost money for sure, but we didn't lose as much as we could have. A lot of swings. I think I'm trying to find my size with micro contracts, trading larger micro contracts than I normally do. But we're not doing the greatest at it. This looks too strong. I'm gonna have to cut this pretty soon if it doesn't retrace fast. And if you want to try to day trade with me, I'm on Top Steps funded account program and futures. They give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account first. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. The monthly subscription is only $49 a month, and it's just going to save traders money, right? Instead of risking your own money, you can try this funded account program, and if you lose, you're out $49 a month. It's not the end of the world. Looks like I'm trading against the edge, though. But it really is a great way to learn how to day trade. So most day traders lose, and so if you put up your own money, you're probably going to lose. And that's a big edge because it limits your risk. Your risk in this case is limited to $49 a month for the base one. And so they give you a 50K demo. If you make 3K in profit on that 50K demo without losing over 2K and following their rules and conditions, they fund you 50K with a 90% split, and they've paid out over $100 million to their traders. They fund thousands of traders a year. They pay out millions of dollars to their trader. They're the most legit one in the world. The big edge is also that I can trade these micro contracts and there's 0 commissions. So like, look at this. There's 0 commissions, 74 cents in fees per trade, only a tiny amount of commissions. And that's a big edge versus, you know, me putting up thousands and risking thousands, if that makes sense. All right, so we're doing a little bit better now. We're going to cover a position there. And again, most day traders lose. We're definitely down today. But if I would have risked my own money here, I would have lost thousands. It's just the perfect way to learn how to day trade with limited risk. If you want to check it out, here's the link. They are an affiliate or sponsor of mine. I'm biased. Is it difficult to achieve 3,000 in profit? Not for me. Yesterday, we got funded in 2 accounts. So it took us 2 days. But yesterday, we got funded in 2 of these accounts. Like, almost simultaneously. We got it all on video. We should upload that video sometime soon to the channel. We'll try to do it in the next day or 2. Yeah, I'm trying to do okay here, but we'll see if we can fill some of that gap. We do have Apple and, or no, we have AMD and Google earnings later on this afternoon too. So I think we still might get choppiness leading into it. Just getting chopped away today this morning. It's all good. I'm trying to give it time. I think rarely it breaks on the upside when we have these type of trends. But who freaking knows? Well, I think if you're trying to get funded, you have to take big risks first. And then once you get funded, you scale down your size. Like, I'm trading micro contracts now that I am funded. But when I was getting funded, I was using regular NASDAQ contracts. All right. So we took our size off after that. But there we go. Scale into some larger size here. See, it just retraces, it takes it out. Yeah, I think the market might behave choppy leading into the earnings today too. That's kind of what we're trying to attack, but we haven't been very successful with it. All right, so we're doing okay here. Let me see where we're at. I think we're definitely still down on the day. Yeah, but it's really not that bad. We're mostly flat. We got some room. So the report was weaker than expected, jobs-wise. So the jobs report is much weaker than expected. I don't think I'm trading very well today too, just to clarify. So just hasn't been doing that great. I'm gonna take small positions and then add to them once I get into the profit like this. But I just don't think I've been trading very well, in all honesty. All right, we took some off there. Trying to get a larger flush breakdown here, but it's tough to gauge. Take 6, and then we gotta be careful. Man, just the worst case outcome for this trade. Now we're about flat here. Somehow we got out green there. I don't know how. There we go. All right. Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much flat on the day. We got a good little string of trades here, but honestly, I think if I would have traded regular contracts, I'd be up so much more. So I think trading micros might be to my detriment here. Hey, thank you, Dean. I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll be back later. Top 3 voices in the world right now. Hey, not if you 0 day to expiry. Y'all be careful, man. Yeah, we got a string of economic reports and data today, so should be very, very busy, in all honesty. Later on today, we've got Google and AMD and Snapchat, I believe, right? So we'll be back later on today, guys. We're sticking around day trading a little bit, but finally have some busier stuff to cover. Yeah, I just think it's so choppy right now. I think it's going to be choppy today too with all the big reports going on. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Hey, I love you all. Y'all have a great day. Again, if you haven't already, check out Top Step funded account. Link is in the description. I'll see you guys later. We'll be back. Google earnings today. We do have Google earnings as well as, yeah, so this afternoon we've got, waiting for my page to load. We've got AMD, Google, Snapchat, Chipotle, Visa, Reddit, EA, Chubb, Stryker, a bunch of other ones. So we got a bunch of earnings today. Google, AMD earnings, a bunch of stuff. So I'll see you guys later on this morning, or later on this afternoon. So again, we'll see you guys in a couple hours. Yeah, we're covering both, Corey. So we'll be covering AMD and Google. So yeah, we're covering both. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. We're slightly red to end the day today, just to clarify. But yeah, I'll see you guys later.